So I've played over 1,000 days in my forever world, and since passing that milestone, I've done nothing. And the reason is, I'm bored. And so to fix this, I'm loading up a brand new vanilla seed and starting over. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy as I make my perfect start in a brand new world. Alright, here we go. Get a tree, get a pickaxe, get some stone, you know the drill. Alright, get some food. And there we go. Alright, I think it's time to go exploring. Let's go. Yes, we found some spruce. That's exactly what I need. I want to build out of this. Let's go get some. Oh, nice. Found a village. Hopefully these guys will have a lot of food. Oh, yes. I'll take some of these. You guys have no food? Where's all your farms? Alright, well, these guys had absolutely nothing. What the heck? What is that? No farms, no nothing. Alright, well, I'm sick of using stone tools, so I want to go find some iron. Also, more food. Whoa! I didn't know that they did different coloured wolves now. That's awesome. They look great. Alright, I believe we found a cave. Hopefully this guy's pretty decently sized. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that! Nice! We found a lush cave. Whoa! Look how big this is. Holy moly. I gotta be careful. Dude, look at this. Oh my goodness. I see some iron. Uh-oh. Alright, nice, we got some iron. Alright, we'll cook up the iron and we will get ourselves a shield and some tools. Because it's a bit scary. Alright, feel a bit better with this shield now. Oh my god. This is not good. Oh my goodness, that was way too close for comfort. Whew. Alright, nice. We got a full set of iron armor now, so I feel a little bit more protected from all the bad guys. I am slowly but surely running out of food. Wow, this is a pretty spectacular cave. It's good that it's day as well. It means I'm less likely to die. Look at all the fish! What the heck, where are they coming from? Oh! Yeah, we got some diamonds! There we go. First diamond of the series. And we got another one. Nice. Oh, and a third. We can get a pickaxe. That's awesome. Hello. Sorry for the interruption, but I wanted to let you know that I now have a Discord. It's a pretty cool place if you have any questions for me or just wanted to hang out. The link is on my channel page and in the description of this video if you wanted to have a look. It's got the links to the mod packs I play and it has the worlds I use all free to download, so it's a good place to go if you wanted to have a chat or play along. Alright, I'll let the video play now. Thanks. Okay, well, I have one potato left and I do not feel like running out of food and then dying. So I'm going to head up to the surface and try and look for a spot to settle down. Okay, I made myself some diamond tools, and I guess now it's time to go find a base location. So I'll see you there. Alright, this is probably a good time to explain how I'm going to make this my perfect start to a Minecraft world. I've broken it down to 5 steps. I want to get at least diamond gear. I want to build a nice looking starter base, and in that base I want to have a full enchantment setup, have an organised storage, and have some production and farms. And with these being done, I think I will have given myself a perfect start to what will hopefully be an awesome series. Alright, I think I've found my location. Yeah, I think we're going to build here. Now, I'm sure you've already seen the thumbnail, but the reason I chose this spot is because I want to completely transform this hillside into an awesome little starter base. Dump everything in here, and I guess we can put up a little settlement type thing. Alright, so I've got my little tent here and we are slowly starting to progress. Now obviously this is just a little starter tent. The main base I think is going to be inside of that hill and on top and all around. So I am looking forward to that. But what we need to do now is we need to get some food. Now I do have some potatoes and some carrots, so I will get them planted, but the main source of food right now I think is going to be animals. And so there are a few around that I can go and grab, put them in a pen and hopefully breed if I get some wheat. So right now I need some animals, I need some wheat, and I need to plant my carrots and potatoes. So let's do that. So whilst building all this, I wanted to tell you about a goal I set for myself. This year I'm striving to reach 10,000 subscribers, and if you could help me out with reaching that goal, then I would be super grateful. I'd like to reach it before the end of the year, and if I do, I'll do something extra special in this world to commemorate that achievement. Come on, cow. Come on, and sheep, come join me. All the cows, come with me. Okay, you leave and you leave. The rest of you, okay, fine. Come with me, cow. Come on, you want to come in to the pen, don't you? Yep. Alright, let's go collect some more animals. More the merrier, because right now I have very little wheat. Come with me, sheep. Alright, look at that. We got loads of cows, a few more sheep, and I think we officially can say that we have a food source, and also we can get some books as well. Although, I guess that means we're going to need some sugarcane, so I think I have some sugarcane. I do. Alright, well we have a good amount of animals, we have some crops growing, and we have some sugarcane for all the books for our enchanting table. I guess it's time to get on with the first step of making a perfect start to this world. I want to go get some diamond armor, which means we're going to go mining. So, yeah, time to go mining. I've just realised that I'm probably going to need some food before going mining though, because I have only 6 pork chops, and that is definitely not going to be enough. I mean, there seems to be a lot of pigs around, so... Alright, well we've got a decent amount of food, so let's go mining. Okay, so whilst you watch me mine diamonds, I just want to say thank you for watching. It means a lot and I'm very grateful. I hope you're enjoying the video so far, and if you have any thoughts then please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thanks. Okay, so this is what I got from that mining trip, and honestly it's a pretty good haul. I got a decent amount of iron and gold, and I managed to get 39 diamonds. And so with that, I'll be able to get a full set of diamond armor, and I'll even have some to spare. Alright, and there we go. That's the first step complete to making a perfect start to this world. Now, all this diamond stuff is great, but it would be much better if I could get some enchantments. And while I was exploring, I did spot a village in the distance, so I'm going to head over there now and see if they've got any books. And I'm also going to try and get a mending villager. Okay, well, no bookshelves, but I will come back for you guys, because I need a mending book. Okay, got a lectern, just gotta head over to the village now and go get a mending villager. Guys, I'm gonna need you to move, please, because I need to get in there. Okay, time to spend an eternity re-rolling this thing. Hey! There we go, and it's only 14 emeralds. Oh, that's really good. Alright, I guess we're gonna get 14 emeralds now. Alright, we got 14 emeralds. Oh, I just need a book. Well, we got 1 mending book. Now we just need another 7. So, time to get to work. Oh dear. Alright, well, we have all of the mending books. I did get an extra one because I want to have 2 pickaxes. One with Silk Touch and one with Fortune 3. And another good thing about this is this guy actually leveled up and got Looting 3 as another book. So that's awesome. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, so I have spent a little bit of time getting things together, and I have managed to get a full enchantment setup. Now, from all the trading I did, I have a total of 38 levels to spend, so hopefully we can use these to get some decent enchants on everything. Oh, Fortune 3, nice. Oh, That's probably the best thing we could have gotten. That's awesome. Well, we no longer have 30 levels, so Fortune 3 is just going to have to suffice for now. We'll get Silk Touch later on, and we'll just use this. And I guess for now we can just do this with some basic enchants. Well, that's not too bad. I'll take that. Alright, got a full set of enchanted tools and armor. Just missing the Silk Touch pickaxe, but that's fine, we can get that later on. So, the next step I want to take is getting my starter base underway, because this campsite is becoming a little overcrowded. But in order to start this thing, I'm going to need to do some terraforming, so it's time to get busy. Okay, so the terraforming is almost done. Now what I want to do is add a little bit of detail and texture to these walls, and hopefully it will look pretty good. Oh, and I also found the spawner, so I made a starter XP farm for my tools. Alright, let's add some texture to these cliffs. You know what? I quite like that. I even like the copper in here as well. That's really nice. Well, we're just over halfway done, and it's still raining. Alright, well I think this has turned out quite nicely. I'm really liking all the texturing and detail I've put in. The only thing that I believe could make an improvement is using some walls and potentially some stairs and slabs to give it some more depth. So I'm going to add them real quick. And just with a small change, a lot has happened. I think it all has a good amount of depth now, and the terrain feels a lot more shaped and finished. Now obviously there's still quite a lot to do because I want to put a storage system in, and I also want to put a mine down here alongside a few farms around the side and bits and bobs on top. So we'll probably start by putting a little house in here. So what I've got to do is I've got to go grab some more resources, and I will come back when I've got everything I need. I will see you in a moment. Hey, we found a mangrove swamp. Yes. Alright, I believe that's all the mangrove stuff that we need. Alright, I think that's all the deep slate as well. Okay, so I've now got everything I need to start this thing. All of the blocks are in this chest, and I also had a lot of cobblestone left over from digging out the terrain, so I went ahead and crafted all these stone blocks up. So now we've got everything, I guess it's time to build. Here we go. Alright, well I am super pleased with how this outside has turned out, and honestly I'm loving these shelves. These new items, these shelves are so good for detailing. Yeah, it's just looking so good. I think I've done a good job. Now I already have started a bit on the inside doing a bit of decoration, but obviously this is going to take some resource gathering and building. So I guess I will see you once the interior is done, because I don't want to do another time lapse, that's boring. So 3, 2, 1, and it's done. Let me give you the tour. Walking in, we've got some nice mangrove planks and a lovely hallway with a bunch of different decorations like lanterns and some bushes. We've got a open plan kitchen, and also we have a lounge. But the kitchen, we've got some good decorations. Got some lovely chairs. I really like these prismarine blocks for doing chairs. They look like very, very good cushions, so yeah. And then we got a nice kitchen countertop using some calcite. Some other decorations like bookshelves around the place, and overall just a really nice cozy vibe. This lounge is looking ultra good. I'm really, really liking all of what I've done in here with the banners and the windows and all the trims so that there's no stone poking through. And walking upstairs, we just have the standard bedroom. It's very, very decorational in here with all the bookshelves, the leaves, the banners looking like curtains, and obviously this painting. I'm pretty sure this is like relatively new. I don't know. It looked really nice, so I went with this painting. And I don't know, this thing that I made, I don't really know how to describe it, to be honest. I tried to make it look somewhat like a mirror, but obviously there's no such thing as a reflective surface in Minecraft. So that's what we have there. And we also have a closet in here, and I think it's all looking really, really good. Oh, and I did forget to mention that there is also a bathroom in here. So now we have all the amenities, and it's all looking awesome. Okay, so now with the interior finished, I want to start work on the storage room. So I'm going to dig a few blocks down under the house, just here, and excavate a big enough area for lots and lots of chests. Alright, so now I've cleared all this, I'm going to go grab some more materials and decorate this interior of the storage room. I'll take that. Ah, we got some more. Nice. Holy moly! What the heck? There's like a double vein. Whoa. How many diamonds are here? What the heck? I just got 31 diamonds out of one vein. Scripted. What can I say? That looks alright, I think. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not sure what I want to do for these insides, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so I think this place is looking pretty good. Now, I do want to put some lights in the ceiling, and so what I'm going to need to do is go to the Nether. Okay, hopefully it's a decent spawn. Well, this is interesting. Is that a bastion? Well, at least we can easily get access to glowstone. Alright, well, we got what we needed. Now it's time to finish this thing off. Yeah, that's already looking really good. Nice. What the heck? Ah! Oh no, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What the heck is this, man? Ah! Why is there jousting zombies in Minecraft now? Ah! Oh my goodness. Tell you what, this is looking pretty damn good. I guess all I have to do now is put in all the chests. So, yeah, here we go. Okay, so this storage room is almost finished, and since I put this nether portal in, I thought it'd be a good idea to put some other rooms in, with my enchanting room and a small super smelter. Also, you probably noticed that I did take out these floors, and that's because I want to put some glass in to make a fog effect. I think it will look good, and that is a goal for my perfect start, so that's what I'm going to do. It does mean that this zombie spawner has to go though, which is unfortunate, but it's fine, we can get XP another way. But before I can do any of that, I want to organize this storage room, which means these guys do have to be sacrificed for the cause. Well, they're all gone now. Okay, so I have spent a little bit of time organising all of my stuff, and it's turned out quite well actually. Now, to finish off this room, I'm going to get a bunch of glass and get to work on this floor, which means, unfortunately, this guy's got to go. Okay, let's get to work. Alright, well, we got a good amount of purple concrete powder. Now it's time to fill in these sides. Well, I think this is looking really nice. I've got my enchanting setup and an okay super smelter. So I think now that my storage room can be officially ticked off the list. And because I've also integrated my enchanting table into my starter base, I'm going to tick that off too. So that means all we have left to do to make this a perfect start is to add some farms and make everything else look really pretty. But before we can do any of that, I want to remove all this starter stuff. And I also want to move these cows and these sheeps into some farms up here. So we'll remove this and then we'll move all of the animals. Well, it's like it was never even here. I guess we've got to get these guys next and move them over to here somewhere. Come on guys, here we go. Okay, now to do all of these. I'm going to try and do it all in one go. Wish me luck. Oh my goodness. This is bonkers. I'm probably going to lose quite a few, but I'm going to do my best to keep everyone here. Okay, and I think that's everyone in. Somehow I've managed to get every single sheep from all the way over there to in here. Okay, awesome. Well, I guess now we just gotta add some more farms and then we can pretty up the base. I'll tell you what, I'm pretty happy with this. It actually looks really good. And I think it's going to look even better once I've done all the detailing. And adding some like paths in here and some other details and like storage boxes and stuff just around the place. I think it's going to look excellent. Okay, so now with the farm done, the last thing to do is to make this place look awesome. Now, in order to do all that, I am going to need to get some resources. So just give me a moment. And 1 moment later, and I hopefully have all of the stuff I'm going to need to decorate this place. Also, this is socks. Yeah, I have a horse now, so that's cool. But anyway, let's crack on with some building. Well, I really hope that you think this is as good as I do, because I am really pleased with how this has all turned out. And turning shaders on makes this place look so much better. The way it all feels like it's meant to be here makes me feel so enveloped in the world. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I think this starter base is pretty good. However, I am not done, because when I was building, I had gotten myself another horse. So now we have shoes and socks. and I thought it'd be a good idea if we made them a stable. So that's what's going to be going here, and in this spot I'm going to be putting a garden because I think it fits well with the house. So I'll go grab the materials and get busy. Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I think I'll keep this grass as well. This grass looks alright. I'll put some bone meal down here, make it look a little prettier. That'll look good. Alright, time to do this garden. Well, I think these are great additions to this area. It really makes everything feel so much more cohesive, and now the horses have a place to sleep. They have some hay hanging up, and you know what? I'm really happy with it. Oh, and also I made a lake whilst I was doing that whole building process, so now there's like a lake pond here. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it all came out. Okay, so I am going to go ahead now and tick off the final step to my perfect start because I think this place looks so much better than I could have imagined. In this video, I'm going to make the ultimate villager trading hall. It's going to have an automatic villager converter, 2 iron farms, and a huge central hall filled with all the trades that I will need. But before all that, I need to get a few things. Now, Socks, you have been very useful to me, but I now need an elytra. It's going to be much more useful when tackling this project, and so it's time to go to the end. Now, I don't currently have any Eyes of Ender or the materials to craft any. So let's take a trip to the Nether and go find a fortress. Okay, time to get some blaze rods. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a challenge. Run, run. Okay, well, we managed to get 11 blaze rods in total. That should be enough, I think. Now I just need to get the ender pearls. Alright, so I've trapped 2 piglins in this hole, and this is how I plan to get my ender pearls. I'm just going to trade with these guys for a bit. I've got some gold just here, and yeah, hopefully it won't take too long. Okay, so I've spent about 3 stacks of gold trying to get these ender pearls, and I have not got a single trade to give me ender pearls. That is unfortunate. So I'm going to have to rethink what I'm going to do to get... Oh, you see that guy in the distance above my head? I'm going to go see if he's going to drop me an ender pearl. Wow. Okay, well maybe I should look for Enderman instead. Okay, I think I'm going to have to go get some boats. Okay, so I've got a boat and I found my way to a warped forest because Endermen love to spawn here. So I'm going to camp out here for a bit and see how many ender pearls I can get. Alright, well, I've got 12 ender pearls, so hopefully that'll be enough, and we can get 12 ender eyes, and then find the portal. Okay, so I've just crafted up the ender eyes I need, so I'll go and get prepped, and then meet you at the portal. Oh! Here we are. Oh! No way! Alright, how many eyes? Oh! We have the perfect amount! Yes! Alright, here we go. Well, I guess it's time to go to the end. Alright, here we go. Now, I'm sure you've already seen plenty of Ender Dragon fights, so I'm just going to get this over with so we can go find an elytra. Okay, all the towers are gone, and it's time to get this going. Alright, well, now we've defeated the dragon, I need to go find an elytra. So, and go through a gateway portal and go find some ships. So whilst I'm searching for end cities, I want to explain the plan for this video. It's going to be split into 3 stages: preparation, exterior build, and interior build. And in each of these sections, there are tasks that need to be done before moving on to the next one. Now, luckily enough, I've already completed part of the preparation stage, and so the only things left for this part of the video is finding an elytra and getting some shulkers. Oh, hey, there's a ship. Nice. That's a scary end city, that is. Sitting over the void. Oh dear. Now, the problem with this is I forgot to bring a shield, so this is going to be a bit awkward. Oh goodness. Ooh, quick. Inside, quick. Alright, there we go. We got an elytra. Nice. Now I have flight. Nice, we got another city. Alright, let's get over there. Hello, sorry for the interruption, but I wanted to say a huge thank you for all the support on the last video. I honestly cannot express how grateful I am for all the likes, comments, and new subs. I have set a goal to reach 10,000 subs by the end of the year, and I am already over a third of the way there, so thank you. If you wanted to help me reach that goal, then a sub would be greatly appreciated, and likes and comments also go a long way too. I also have a Discord you can join if you'd like. There's plenty of awesome people already there, so if you fancy making some new friends or just hanging out, then it's entirely free to do so. Anyway, that's enough self-promotion, let's get on with the video. Alright, so from that trip to the end, I now have 2 elytras, and I have also made some shulker boxes from the shells I collected. So that means that stage 1 is now complete, and so moving on to stage 2, the first step is to do some terraforming. Now, this actually took quite a bit longer than expected, and that's probably because I wanted to fill in the terrain rather than just outlining it. I don't know why, but I prefer to do it this way. It does take longer, but it makes me feel better, and it also means I don't have to spam torches to prevent mob spawning. I did get a couple of comments on the previous video asking for some tips on building, and my biggest recommendation is that when you have an idea, find a reference. It could be something from fantasy, real life, or another Minecraft build. And this way, you can use the reference to find the parts you like and replicate them in your own Minecraft build. Oh, it looks like we're done. Okay, so the terrain's all done, and I did go ahead and put a base down, and you can really start to see the scale of this project, because there is quite a lot of resources that I have to gather. And so for this next part, I've got a list of materials that I need to go get, and I guess I will see you once that's done. Oh. I think I found a desert. Alright, time to destroy this place. And of course it's night time when I arrive. Typical. What the heck? Okay, so that's it for all of the sand portion of the materials. Now I just need to go get a few more, and we should be good. We should be good to build this thing. Alright, so I have now collected all of the resources in the shulker boxes behind me, and I did go ahead and make this outline of the overall shape that I'm going to build. So I think it's time to kick some music on and get a time lapse going. Okay, you've got to admit that this is looking pretty good. I'm loving the roof design and all the windows with the entrance. Oh, it's looking so good. But there are a couple things I do want to add, so just give me a moment. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool. Come on, that's awesome. The flags are so good. They're also really weird. Like, I've used concrete powder, wool, glass panes, a bunch of bamboo, but like from a distance, they actually look really good. I'm really pleased. Okay, so with that, I think that stage 2 is now complete, and that means we can move on to stage 3. Now, this stage is all about the interior, and so I'm going to need to go gather some materials. So I'm going to go stream for a bit, and if you want to catch when I go live, it might be worth turning notifications on, or joining my Discord. I always announce when I go live, and it's also a great place to ask any questions you have. Right. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I now have a good amount of the materials. They're just in this box, and I'll probably need a few more bits and bobs, but yeah, this will do for now. And so I'm going to get on with the interior, and I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that showed up on the live stream. That was awesome. It was my first live stream, so yeah, just thanks for showing up. It was great fun. Right, let's get on with this thing. Hey, this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna put all these villagers in these little booths, and it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Just gonna do like this side and on the roof. This is pretty cool. I mean, it's a bit dark up there. I kind of want to add some lights, but yeah, other than that, it's looking good. I'm gonna put some lanterns along these tops here, in here as well. Yeah, I'm liking it. Oh, look at that. That looks cool. I just need to fill it up and put some on this side. Takes a lot of bookshelves though. I might need to go trade for some books and some bookshelves. Okay. Alright, got some bookshelves. Hopefully can fill in these gaps now. Look at that. That's so cool. Do I want to put some ladders on here? I don't actually know. It might look good. Maybe if I just put like one. Yeah, because then I can have like a little thing going up here. Alright, nice. Put some of these lanterns in, hopefully it brightens up the place, and I can remove all the torches on the floor. Yeah, look at that. That's actually nice now. Yeah! Alright, let's fill in these windows. I mean, come on. Is that not pretty cool? I still don't know what I want to do with the roof, but we'll figure it out, I guess. But I think, for now, I'm just going to mimic this on the other side. And then we can do the center of this place and put a cool little glass feature in here. Hang on. Can you see that? Wait, oh, I think it just disappeared. There was a zombie in full diamond armor naturally spawned in. What are the odds of that? That's so unfortunate. It just literally despawned. Oh, now no one's gonna believe me that it happened. Alright, well, I've been building this for quite a long time, and honestly, I'm so happy. Look, I even put myself in here. So, maybe that's a little bit narcissistic, but it's fine. It's fine. I think it looks cool. I actually think it's quite cool. So, yeah. There was, like, just enough space in this border that I had. So I was like, what can go there? And then we put some lights up here behind the trapdoors. I think it looks good. And then the library sections, yeah, it's looking nice. It's looking nice. I think I'm just going to leave the roof like this. I'm not going to put anything like special on it. And then obviously we got all the villagers to go in here. And this side is done. Both sides are the exact same, so there's no point showing you the other side. Well, I suppose I can. I mean, it's literally just the exact same thing, just copy pasted one side to another. But yeah, it's looking good, and I'm really happy with it. So, awesome. Alright, and so the only thing left to do is this interior, and this isn't really going to be for any purpose. I did mention it on my live stream, but this isn't going to be for any purpose, it's just going to look good. So I'm going to get some resources. I do already have some resources in this box, but I'm going to continue with this, and hopefully by the end of it, it's all going to look pretty damn nice. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I kind of want to build like a cool little wraparound staircase, and I think if we just like create a central one and then split it off to two other ones and then go above, that would look quite cool. So probably like here or something? Yeah, something like that. And then be like staircase going up around there, and then we can put something cool underneath maybe. Yeah, I definitely need some more spruce though, so time to go get some more spruce, I guess. Gotta grow some trees, get some stuff. Yeah, that actually looks good. Obviously, I just need to do that side and then do the whole roof and then the whole thing. So I guess we gotta crack on. Almost died. I think this is actually gonna look really good. And then we could do some like decorations in between with some lights and stuff. Maybe we could do like a nice chandelier from the top. That could look cool. I mean, I'm not sure if it's too dark for everyone to see, but yeah, I think it's gonna look cool. Yeah. Right, let's add some other bits. Alright. So I think we need to add a little bit of colour to this. Now I was going to do like just a normal brown staircase, but I think maybe we could use some mangrove and it'd look good just like that. So I'm going to go cut down a few mangrove trees and see what it looks like with a red staircase instead. That looks pretty cool. All the way from here it's all lit up. It looks so good. Okay, so I've been and got some mangrove stuff, made some mangrove slabs, and I guess I can build this staircase now. So yeah, let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that looks alright to be fair. I'm gonna get some lanterns so I can actually see it though. Okay, that's actually not bad. I quite like it. I feel like I should block this off just because, I don't know, probably look better that way. Look a bit more solid, rather than just like a little bit of a floating staircase. So yeah, I think just put some dark oak in there and we could make it look a bit cooler. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Now we just need like a little platform, because otherwise the staircase would be pretty useless. So we'll put like a little yeah, we'll put like a little platform up here, maybe some benches or something, or like tables or something. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I need some more lanterns, man. I need to put some lanterns on here so that I can actually see, because it's way too dark. So I'm gonna go get some lanterns. Can you guys not, please? I'm trying to build. Go away. Go away. Get away from me. Ah! Why is he dripped out? Holy. This place is actually coming along so nicely. I really like this. I'm going to put some decoration in here so that you can't see the glowstone. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's nice to see the glowstone. I'm going to try it without and with, and then see what I like. But it's raining again. Oh. Okay, got some decoration pieces. Let's try and make something cool. Does this look good? I actually kind of like that. I think the texture pack is making all these things look red, but then when you zoom in it's like somewhat fine. I don't know, I might have to get rid of the texture pack, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, actually it's quite nice. I don't mind that. And then the whole way across, it might look cool, you know? Yeah, that looks good. Is that not looking awesome or what? That's so cool. Oh yeah, that's really nice. I just need some more dark oak wood. Tell you what, this place is looking really cool. I would like to put something here. I didn't really know like if I should do this or not, or if I should just leave the wall blank. I don't actually know what to put in here. I could put some like lettering or something. Could be cool. Maybe you guys can suggest something that my brain cannot think of. But yeah, give me some suggestions and I might put it in the next video, because I actually don't know what I can put in this. But yeah, I think now I can put all my glass things that I wanted to put in this little section, this gap. And I also want to put some paintings around to add a little bit extra detail. And then I think this is done. And honestly, I quite like it like this. Maybe I put some fencing around here, but I really like it how it is. I don't actually think we need a chandelier. It could be cool. Maybe I can add it when I put this in. I guess you can let me know. If you think I should put a chandelier in here, then tell me, because I think it looks cool as it is. But yeah, just let me know your thoughts. Oh, nice. Got the perfect amount. Okay, now we've got to do this bit. Look at that, that's so cool. The only thing that I do want to add is maybe some paintings, because that just is nice. And also, that's why I put these torches here, because I want to have some light, but then the paintings can cover the torches. Awesome. Right, let's get some paintings. Alright, this is looking absolutely awesome. I'm loving it. This central room is looking awesome. I still want to put something up there, so let me know what you think could go there. What would look nice, and I'll try and do it. And then also in here, loving it, loving it. This is obviously slightly dark, but to be honest, it's not the focus. This is the focus, and it's all light, so I'm happy with it. Alright, so that's it for the interior decor, and so I'm going to go stream for a bit and build some iron farms. And there we go, one stream later, and I have iron forever. I will explain quickly how it all works. Essentially, this zombie bobs up and down, breaking line of sight with the villagers. This means that they can sleep and get scared, which are the requirements for spawning golems. The golems then spawn in the water and get pushed into the lava, generating me infinite iron. Alright, so I have been quite busy, and not only have I finished the iron farms, I have also finished the zombifier. It's quite a nice design really, where I press a lever, select a villager, and then send the zombie to zombify it. It's the same on every side, and if you want a tutorial, then put it down in the comments, and I may just make one. Alright, so with all that, the only thing left to do is get some villagers. Now, I am going to tick that off, as technically I have done it, but it's going to take a lot of work to put them all in. So I'm at the point in my world where I'm moving towards bigger and bigger builds. The problem is, I need resources to make these builds, and at the moment, I have no way of easily getting them. So in this video, I'm going to build some farms, which will hopefully give me a good amount of items, making it easier to finish these larger projects. Alright, so if I want to get all of these farms built, then I'm going to need to get a good amount of materials, and since I haven't got any way of producing these materials, I'm going to need to do things manually. The thing is that mining all of those resources does take quite a long time, and I want to speed it up by getting a beacon. So it's time to head to a fortress and get some wither skeleton heads. Alright, here we are, and I guess it's time to just get some wither skeleton skulls. Hopefully it won't take too long. I do have a looting 3 sword, so let's get to work. Come on, man. I'm getting so unlucky. I've got looting 3 on this sword as well. Hey, we got one! Huzzah, we got one! Oh! We got a second one, look at that! Nice! My luck's finally turning around. Oh! No way! Crazy! We got 3 in like, literally 10 wither skeletons? I don't even know. But then, for the other 20, I didn't get any. Crazy. Right, now I've got to find my way out of here. Alright, here we go. Place these down. Place these down. Cue the music. Oh dear. Please don't hurt me. There we go. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Come on. Oh, we're almost there. Come on. Just a few more hits. Yeah! Nice. Alright, so we got another star, and now we just need to get that beacon. So get some obsidian, get some glass, and just like that. And there we go, 1 beacon, up and running. Now I just need to get all the blocks for it, and hopefully I should have enough iron in my bank. So whilst I'm getting this iron, I just wanted to say a massive thank you, because I have reached my goal of 10,000 subscribers, and I am truly grateful for the huge amount of support from each and every one of you. So thank you. Alright, so hopefully with all them blocks we can make a full-fledged beacon. Cool, so now we have a beacon, we can start on the farms. Now the first one that I want to do is a slime farm, and I have already marked an area out, so I will meet you over there. Oh, and I did just want to quickly mention that I have put something in this gap now. I decided to go with a clock because I thought it fit the aesthetic of this room, and I don't know, it just looked nice, it felt right. But yeah, thank you for all your suggestions, I do really appreciate it. I know there was a lot of different ideas, but yeah, I have decided to go with this, so I hope you like it. Alright, so this is the area that I am going to be using. You can see there are some pillars already up indicating where the chunks are. If I just go ahead and turn on the chunks, you can see that each dirt pillar is in the corner. Now I have been lucky enough to actually get 6 sort of in like a little rectangle just here. So it'll be this one and then 2 going that way and then another 3 along there. These all spawn slimes, which is pretty nice. The problem is though, is that slimes only spawn at level 40 or less, and so that means I've got to dig down a little bit and excavate a big hole. So I guess we'll get the beacon up and running and I'll kick it into a time lapse. So whilst I'm digging out this farm, I wanted to go ahead and say a huge thank you because I have already reached my 10k goal, and at the time of recording I'm almost at 12,000 subscribers, which is honestly just incredible. I cannot thank you all enough. I do want to commemorate this achievement within a video on this world, but I'm not quite sure what you guys would want. So if you do have any suggestions, then please put them in the comments. I do read them all, and I am very curious as to what you think would be a good celebration for this milestone. Getting back to the farm though, I did accidentally forget to record the second layer being done, but this is the final look after digging it all out. Alright, well, this is all mined out. I have done 2 layers, so hopefully it will increase the spawn rate and give me some more slime balls. But yeah, so the next stage is to get some mushrooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go farm a bunch of those. I'm just going to go to a dark forest and see how many I can get. I'm going to need quite a lot, so yeah, it might take me a little bit of time, but I will be back once I have collected them all. And just like that, it's all done. So this is all of the mushrooms that I have collected. Now this is obviously just enough for 1 layer at the moment because, it took a long time getting all those mushrooms. So I am just going to do the 1 layer for now. Hopefully that should give me enough slime for what I'm going to need. And if I do need to do another layer, then I can quite easily and efficiently. So I guess the only thing now is to just place them all down. So time lapse time. Alright, so now it is almost fully dark. I just need to put in the golems and then hopefully it should be done. Obviously I do have to do a few extra bits, put some water down below and create a killing chamber, but that will be done after I've put the golems in. So let's go get some iron. Alright, now that's your cage for eternity. I promise, it's humane. And there we go, all 6 are in. I just need to maybe add another layer of mushrooms, but we'll see how well this layer of mushrooms does, and hopefully we'll get a good amount of slime. Now I just need to add a chamber for all the slimes to go in, and then put some water in. So I'll go get some buckets, and there we go, it'll be done. So we've got to put a chest down here, and then we just do this, I think. And then add the hoppers this way, put these guys on top, and then we just put water buckets here. Hopefully this will work. Yep. I did forget one thing, and that is some fence gates. So I'll just go get them real quick. Alright, so I've been AFK for about an hour, so let's see what we got. 5 stacks ain't too bad. I mean, to be honest, this farm is not like super efficient, so I don't expect to get loads and loads of resources, but we do need slime because we need some sticky pistons, some slime box, and some other things as well. Alright, so with the slime farm complete, I can now move on to the other farms. My rocket supply at the moment is looking pretty bad, so I think the next one I want to build is going to be the mob farm. This will hopefully yield a bunch of gunpowder, so I don't have to worry about any rockets in the future. Now, the problem with this farm is it is going to require quite a lot of materials, and just looking at the schematic, I am going to need over 2 shulker boxes of stone, 1.5 shulker boxes of stone slabs, and over a shulker box of glass. So it's time to play some music and get on with some resource collection. Alright, so we should have enough shulker boxes for this already. Hopefully I don't have to go collect some more. And I did already get a decent amount of stone, so I think with this I should have enough. Alright, cool. So we got stone in here. Oh, it looks like we might actually need a few more because we need 1.5 shulker boxes of stone slabs. And then we also need over a shulker box. Yeah. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna need to go get some more shulker boxes. That's fine. That's fine. Alright, well, it's time to go to the end. Alright, time to find an end city. Alright, there we go. All the stone's been got, and I guess we just move on to everything else now. Alright, and there we go. I think that's all the slabs. Yeah, there we go. That's all the slabs done. Alright, now for the tricky one, which is glass. I need to do a bunch of trading. I do already have a bunch of glass in here, so hopefully this will be a decent portion of the glass, but I do believe that I will need some more. Yeah, I don't even have a shulker box, so I'm going to need to do some trading, and hopefully I can get enough pretty soon. Alright, there we go, and that's the glass all done. I did also go ahead and collect all of the other ingredients, so I believe that's everything done. Yep, that's everything done. Look at that, all green, apart from the buckets, but obviously the thing is you only need 2 for these, so I'll only get 2 water buckets, and yeah, we should be all good for that. Okay, so I'll go find a good spot, and I'll meet you over there. Okay, so this is the place where the farm is going to go, so all that's left to do is to build the thing. So let's go. This farm was actually a little bit difficult to build. Luckily, what made it easier was that I was using a schematic. And as a channel member, you could have access to these schematics if you wanted. It's very cheap and comes with a lot of perks. You'll of course get access to my builds, you'll get a Discord role, and access to chats that I will take priority in responding to. You'll also get some cool badges depending on the tier of subscription, and it's also a way of supporting me and what I do. I am planning on releasing some more perks in the future, and if there's something you think I could add, then please do let me know. Alright, look at that. Oh, I mean, this is looking pretty damn good. Look at all the mobs coming in. Holy moly. Only problem with this mob farm is, well, at the moment, I don't really have any way of storing all of the drops, and so that's basically the next step, is to put in a storage system for all this stuff, and then, well, this thing is done. So I guess I gotta go gather some more resources in order to make this storage system. Well, here we go again. Alright, there's the glass and the redstone. There's the chests and the stone. There's the hoppers, the trapdoors and the repeaters. There's the droppers, redstone stuff and some more spruce stuff. And there's the rest of the bits. Alright, nice. So we have everything in this box. Now we just gotta head over back to the mob farm and go build the storage system. Alright, so give it a second and done. There we go. It's all finished and it's ready to have items thrown in. Alright, there we go. Put these guys in. Put gunpowder first, then bones, and then string. And then this will fill up and it will automatically filter everything, which is awesome. I really like this system, so hopefully it should just work. Okay, so I'm going to go AFK for a bit and see how much we can get. I'm also going to build a platform so that I can actually access the chests, because right now, well, we can't quite reach them. So I'll build a platform, go AFK, and come back when we've got a decent amount of resources. So I'm not exactly sure how much this farm produces, but I think it's somewhere around 30,000 items an hour. I did need 2 hoppers per resource because in testing, 1 was actually not quite enough. Alright, so after being AFK for about 2 hours, I have gained quite a substantial amount of resources. I mean, look at this. This farm's doing me wonders. I'm gonna not need to worry about any rockets or even TNT in the future. Alright, awesome. So the mob farm is now complete, and I think the next one that I want to build is going to be a sugarcane farm because I want loads and loads of rockets. It's going to make getting around a lot easier for me. And so, you know the drill, I just gotta go get a bunch of resources, and then I will make the farm. I'm not gonna show you me collecting the resources this time, because honestly, it's getting a little bit repetitive. So unless anything interesting happens, I will just skip straight to the farm. Oh my god. That was close. Whoa! What the heck? Minecraft's trying to give me a heart attack. Honestly. Alright, so I've gone and gathered all the resources, they're all in these boxes, and it's just time to place the schematic and build the thing. You know, I'm always curious about what people think to the whole like schematic stuff, because this makes my life so much easier, but some people probably think like it's a bit cheaty and you should just build it normally. But honestly, when these big structures are like needed to be built, it's just so much to think about, and it will take me so much longer to get videos out. So I don't know, I guess let me know what you think. Like, do you think it's cheating? Do you think it's useful? Or do you think like it doesn't really matter? I don't know. Just let me know what you think. Yeah, so with this farm I actually needed to change some things because the original design had a few flaws that I realised. But I am genuinely curious and I am very intrigued by your guys' take on this idea of using schematics. I personally find it really useful for content creation, but maybe it can take the joy out of regular Minecraft? I don't know, let me know. Alright, so this sugarcane farm is now done and it's running pretty smoothly. It gets me around a shulker box an hour, so it's not too bad. And hopefully this should last a good while and give me plenty of resources for rockets and other things. Okay, so what I'm wanting to do next is a moss farm. Now I am going to build 3 of these farms, with 1 for each type of moss and the other being for bone meal. This means I am going to need 3 times the resources I would normally need, so I'm going to have to do some mining, crafting and organising. Let's go again. Alright, so I think I will start with the lowest amount of blocks. So I'm going to need probably 2 moss blocks and 1 pale moss block, and then some dispensers, some redstone lamps. We're just going to go from the bottom to the top. Alright, so we've got 3 there. I think I'm just going to put each farm in each shulker box, and it should just work out quite nicely like that. Okay, now next up is the dispensers. Alright, there's 1, and 2, and 3. Awesome. So next on the list is some redstone lamps. Okay, and there's the redstone lamps. Put them in here. Alright, and the levers. Levers are nice and easy. I'm pretty sure I've got some in here. Yep. So whilst I'm collecting these materials, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this far. I hope you're enjoying the video, and if you are and want to support my content, then a like is always greatly appreciated. I have mentioned that I reached my sub goal, and so I am changing that goal and challenging myself to reach 25,000 subs by the end of the year. And if you'd like to help me with this goal, then I would be truly grateful. Alright, so I have now got all of the resources. I did go ahead and collect the hoppers and the redstone repeaters for each box and for each farm. So, you know what this means? Time-lapse time. So I've seen a lot of people complimenting my building style, and thank you for that, it means a lot. I'm curious as to what you guys prefer video-wise though. Do you like aesthetic building, or do you enjoy more in-depth technical videos? I ask this because you guys are great at helping me come up with ideas, so let me know. Okay, so I have been AFK again for about half an hour this time, and the amount of items we have received from these moss farms is just incredible. And with the bone meal side of things, yeah, we're doing pretty well. Pretty much a line on each chest, getting nearly a double chest in about half an hour. So, I mean, you can imagine, this is just pouring out items. It's great. So with this, we are getting around 50,000 items an hour, which is, well, it's very nice. It's very nice. And that combined with the mob farm and the sugarcane farm, well, we are definitely on our way to around 100,000 items an hour, so that's pretty good. Alright, so with the moss and the sugarcane farm now done, I can move on to the stone farm. Now, you may be curious as to why I'm building one of these, but there will be a point where I need to do a good amount of terraforming, so I'm making one now, so it will save a bunch of time in the future. So the thing is with this farm is it's actually going to require quite a good amount of obsidian. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the end and I'm going to destroy some pillars. Alright, so I'll quickly set up this beacon. Alright, well, now with the beacon up, it's time to get rid of these pillars. Alright, so hopefully this should be enough. I got almost a line of obsidian. I don't actually need this much. In fact, I've got over 3 times the amount that I do need. But yeah, hopefully it'll be enough and we can get on with the farm. And of course it's raining. Well, at least we got all the obsidian done. Now we just need to get all of the other materials. So I'll spend a little bit of time getting all these things, and I'll meet you back once I've got everything. Alright, so after a little bit, I have collected all of the resources. Now I just need to place down the schematic and once again build everything. So yeah, let's go again. So this is more of a cobblestone farm than a stone farm. I am planning on making these farms larger and better in the future with an actual stone farm with smelting, but for now this cobblestone farm should suffice for the projects I'm planning on building. Alright, so it's all built up, now it's just time to switch it on. It does have a TNT duplicator at the top, so pray for me that it doesn't blow up. Here we go, please work. Oh, it's working. Okay, so the interesting thing about this is the fact that I cannot unload anything even close to it, because this will just mess up and, well, I'll just say it won't end well. This is great though. Oh, I'm so glad it works. I designed this entirely myself, so the fact that it's just working is so nice. I did do quite a lot of testing, so yeah, it should work, but I'm just glad that it's transferred over to the survival world nicely. Alright, so with the stone farm now complete, we can move on to the flower farm. Now, I already have been on a good mission to collect all of the resources, and they are sitting in these 2 boxes right beside me. So, I'll put down the schematics and get going. So this was actually quite a quick build, so I won't even be able to talk about anything. Oh, and of course it's nighttime and raining whenever I finish a build. So typical. Ah, that's better. Now we got some sunshine. So, this farm is all finished. But the problem is, I actually need some tall flowers to go in here now. So, yeah, time to go collect all of them. Now, luckily enough, around my base there are some sunflowers, and so here we go. There we go, got a sunflower. And just over here, there is a flower forest. And so, hopefully, yep. Oh, nice, we got all of them just here. So, that's the lilac, the rosebush, and I believe this is is it a peony? Yes. So, I'll just head back through the nether and go back to the farm. Okay, so if I just break out these windows and then place all of the stuff in, and hopefully, if I just place all these back in, I think some went in the chests. And then hopefully, if we just put bone meal in all of these chests, then it should just work. So, I'll just get a bunch of bone meal, and if I just flick them all on, look at that! Nice! And this is pretty good. This means I can decorate with some flowers. Oh, I've got to turn this off. This is just so loud. So they are all filtering into the chest, and that's because it's farmland. And so farmland is not quite a full block, and so it goes through into the hopper and straight into the chest. It's quite a nice technique, I thought. But yeah, now I can decorate with some flowers, and I can also get dyes from these. So that's pretty good. Alright, so that one farm is done. Now I want to build a second farm. Now you may be wondering why, but that farm was only for 2 high flowers, and I want a farm for 1 high flowers. Things like daisies, dandelions, and that sort of thing. Now I have marked out an area just here, and if you're wondering why I'm not building it in the ocean, it's because in the ocean you can only get roses and dandelions, and I want a few more than that. And so I am just going to plonk it just here. Don't worry though, I know it looks pretty nice over here, and plonking just a farm in the middle of it may make it look a little bit ugly. So what we'll do is next episode we will wrap this in a building to fit in with all the aesthetic. So with an area marked out, I guess I'll take these resources and plonk it all down. Okay, so I would love to know what sort of building you think would look good here. Please do place your suggestions in the comments, because I always get some inspiration from what you guys come up with. Alright, the farm has been built. Now we just need to turn it on to see if it works. Here goes nothing. Alright, so it does appear to be working, and you can see that we're getting dandelions, daisies, the blue ones. I don't know what the blue ones are called, but yep, we're getting the blue ones. It's still very loud though. Oh geez. Okay, let's turn that off. That's getting a little bit too loud. But yeah, you can see they all filter in here, and it works just like that. And what I will say is, the reason I didn't build it in one of these meadow biomes is because the flowers in these meadow biomes are actually, like, not what they seem. Like, if you build exactly on these layers, it might pop out these white tulips and orange tulips, but it's not guaranteed. And so that's why I didn't build in this meadow biome. Or I think it's a flower forest. So that's your reasoning if you're curious. Because to be honest, from this farm and the other farm with the 2 tall flowers over there, what actually happens is I get pretty much everything I need for dyes. And if I ever needed like some tulips to decorate, then I can always go and collect them. It's not a big deal. Okay, so this place is looking nice, but I think I can make it look better. But before I start placing blocks, I'm going to get some upgrades on my gear. I want netherite. And so, with the image of netherite firmly lodged in my mind, I made my way to the closest desert to get some sand for TNT so I can do some blast mining. Alright, so what I want to do in this episode is I want to make some builds that sort of go with everything that I currently have, and the themes at the moment that I'm going with is cottagecore and Greek style, although they don't really fit together very well. And so what I'm going to try and do is merge the 2 styles in the builds that I'm going for and try and make something that fits. this and doesn't just seem like it's plonked in the world. And I think I've got a pretty good idea of what sort of builds we can make, so hopefully you guys will like it. Alright, so I've been pretty busy gathering some sand. We've got 2 shulker boxes. Now I've just got to head over to the farm and go get my gunpowder. Why is there so many golems here? What the heck? There's like 7 golems. There's one over there as well. What the hell? Alright, so bought 2 more shulker boxes over here. Oh no, I gotta turn that down. Okay, so I'll just fill up these shulker boxes with this gunpowder and I'll meet you back when we've got some TNT. And so with just over a double chest of each, I have got 11 stacks of TNT. It's actually not that much. Cool, so with all of the TNT gathered, I will find a good spot in the nether and go and get a bunch of netherite. Alright, wish me luck. Hopefully this doesn't blow up in my face and I lose literally everything that I own, but I guess we'll see. So I spent around an hour blast mining my way through the nether with a few close calls. Uh-oh. Run, run, run. Whoa. Holy. But overall, I managed to get myself a good amount of ancient debris. Alright, so I have been at this for a while now. I've managed to get 36 ancient debris in total, and so I think we should be able to get all my tools and all of my armor with that. But now I need to just get out of this maze of tunnels. Alright, so I've got these smelting now, and give it a bit of time, and they'll be done. Alright, I do believe, yep, we do have enough gold to get all the netherite that we want, and yep, all these furnaces are finished and we should have 36 netherite scraps just like that. So we'll go in here, craft them all up. Look at that. Nice. And we'll head over here. I still don't know why there's so many iron golems here. I think these guys are just hanging out. Anyway, with the smithing template, we should be able to... Yes, that's a good point. We are going to need some smithing upgrades. I forgot about that. Well, one moment. And one short trip to a bastion later. Alright, well, we got it. We got it. We can now escape. Well, that was certainly quite interesting. It was a pretty close call at times, but you know what? We did it, and we got the upgrade. Now, luckily enough, I did actually get a bunch of diamonds from mining last episode. Don't worry, I did get them legit, I promise, okay? I know you may not believe me, but I did, I swear, I got them legit, okay? So, I guess we just... Oh wait, we need some netherrack. And I believe it's just like this. It's like that, okay. Well, I'm an idiot. And there we go, 12 upgrades. Nice. Oh, we've got a 4th one that's joined. Anyway, alright, so we've got this smithing table just here, and I guess we just go ahead and upgrade everything. Well, doesn't that just feel awesome? I'm fully upgraded and I'm looking so cool. Okay, so now I've got my shiny new set of armor, I want to start on the builds I've got planned for this episode, starting with a sheep farm. Now you may wonder why I want a sheep farm, but the reason is that I need a bunch of red wool for one of the builds I plan on making. Alright, now before I go collect these resources, I just want to say a quick thank you for watching. Even if you've just clicked because you like the thumbnail, I really appreciate it. Staying for even just a few minutes means a lot, so thank you. Right, let's go get some blocks. So starting off, I collected some sandstone bits which will be for the main decoration of the farm. There's the fence gates for access so the sheep can be put into the farm, and then I went ahead and gathered the observers for the farm. This next bit might hurt to watch, but I didn't have silk touch on any shovel, so I just used my pickaxe. I apologise. Moving on though, I made a bunch of bows, and I think that dispensers are genuinely the most tedious things to craft. But I managed to get them all done, and it was time to get the wool. Alright, now I just gotta go get the dyes, and then hopefully we should have everything. So I spent a little bit of time gathering the dyes, using the flowers from my flower farm, and overall getting most of the wool. So now I only need cyan, green and lime wool, but they all need cactus because I need some green dye. So I'm gonna head to the closest desert and go get some cactus. And after gathering the cactus, I have everything I need to build the farm. Alright, there we go, everything's green, and we can get on with the wool farm. So this farm is actually quite a simple one. It works by these observers detecting when the sheep eat the grass, which then activates the dispensers with shears in. The farm has every colour of wool too, just because then I have easy access to more colours in the future. If you did want to make this yourself, then by becoming a channel member, you can have access to this schematic and every single other one that I have made. So if that's something you'd like to do, then it's available on my channel page. Oh, looks like we're done. Okay, so this is what the farm is looking like at the moment, and all I need to do now is get all the sheep in, and it should be up and running. So I'll go get the sheep, and I'll meet you back once I've done it. So whilst I'm moving the sheep, I just wanted to let you know that I am challenging myself to reach 25,000 subs by the end of this year, and if you would like to help me out with that goal, then I would be truly grateful. Alright, so now with this wool farm set up, we can go ahead and get started on the main builds. Now this is actually going to be part of one of the structures. Obviously I needed to build this first because I need the red wool, like I said, for the roof. Now the structure that's going to go on top of this flower farm, I actually am really proud of how it came out. I designed it in creative mode, and it's essentially like 2 mushrooms combined in one. And that may not make too much sense at the moment with me just describing it, but I cannot wait to build it and show you guys. Before we crack on with the main build though, there is this patch of land that I've not known what to do with, but I have come up with an idea. Since we're leaning towards a more cottage core styling, there is nothing better than some lovely looking custom trees. Now of course I am going to need to get some resources to make these trees, so it's time to destroy some trees to make some trees. Does trees still sound like a word? I don't know. So before gathering the materials, I thought I'd get a fully decked out hoe. It's much quicker gathering the leaves this way, so I traded with my villagers and made one. Whilst I was out finding all the biomes I needed, I managed to stumble upon this bit of interesting generation. So I've just been flying around here and I found a pale forest, but what is this generation with a dark oak forest and a woodland mansion in the side of a mountain? What is this? I mean, this is just crazy. And then there's a lush cave down here as well. I mean, if you want the coordinates, here you go. This is a crazy bit of generation. So I spent a while gathering up all the materials I needed and then built up this forest. I did make a short explaining my process of making custom trees, so if you want to learn how to make these nice looking additions, then I would definitely recommend checking it out if you want my perspective. I've also made a schematics pack of custom trees, which you can of course access via membership, or you can join my Discord, where as a thank you for reaching 10,000 subscribers, I will be giving away 5 lucky winners lifetime access to all of my schematics. Alright, well these trees are actually looking quite nice, I think. I did also go ahead and place some lanterns whilst I was at it, just so that there's no mobs spawning in the middle of this place. But overall, I think it does like cover up this building quite nicely, which is actually what I wanted. And so you only really see it when you come around this corner and you get a really nice view. I think that's really nice. Now there obviously is going to be a building here and a building here, but overall these trees are doing their job. I like it. I just wanted them to make this place feel a bit more cozy, a bit more cottage core like, and yeah, I think I've done the job. There are a couple gaps though, like just here, where I think some stones might look nice, or like some small boulders. So I might go get some rocks, some like cobblestone bits, and try and make some. See if I can make it look nice. Alright, so we'll grab some cobblestone, and yeah, let's get some stone as well. Let's get some deep slate too, add some darker areas. And then we'll head to the farm and get some moss. Oh hey bud, what are you doing here? Alright, so I'll grab a stack of moss, and I'm also going to grab some pale moss as well, because I think that will look nice on the stones. And you know what, whilst we're at it, let's get some tuff. I think that'll look nice. Oh, and of course it's raining. Alright, let's build a rock. You know what, add in a few rocks. It's actually made this thing look a lot better. Maybe I should add some leaves to these. Maybe that would be a little bit overwhelming with all the leaves that we already have. You know what? Actually, I could add some smaller trees, like small saplings. I think that'll look nice. Yeah, I'm going to do that in the empty spaces. Yeah, that'll do. It's okay. I don't mind it. Let's put one here. Does that look good? Kind of hard to make the smaller trees, because they either look too empty or like too bushy. What about if we just like removed a couple leaves? Is that alright? I think it'll be fine for now. I think up close it's fine, so as long as that's done, then it should be fine. How's that? I think that one looks better. Alright, I think this place is looking good now. We just need to get these 2 buildings in, and then I think the place will start to feel a lot less empty. Because right now we have like a nice little forest, but yeah, as far as the rest of everything else is concerned, there's not too much here. You know, I thought I'd put shaders on to see how this looks, and honestly, it looks so nice. I'm walking through this forest and seeing the bank appear in like, oh yeah, that's nice. You know what, this place is coming along quite nicely, I think. So now this forest is in, I want to build some mushrooms. Now there are a good variation of blocks to get, so let's go and get them. So there are quite a lot of resources for this build, lots of different types of blocks, so I'm going to need quite a few shulker boxes, I think. Luckily enough, I have been saving up, and I shall just take a row of shulker boxes, and hopefully that'll be enough. Alright, well, there's the first one, first item in. Now I just got to get everything else. So the first thing I did was head to the nether. I needed some nether wart blocks because I am going to use them for detail in the mushroom tops. I am going to skip over most of the gathering because it looked like this for a lot of it, grabbing stuff out of chests, crafting the parts I need, and then placing into shulker boxes. Not that interesting. I did do a little bit of exploring though, heading out to the mesa to get terracotta for some roof texture, as well as heading to a cherry biome. I crafted all the cherry stuff and then went out to find a stony peaks biome to gather some calcite. I don't know how long these stony peaks have been in the game, but they are a game changer for getting calcite. Calcite used to be so annoying to get because it only used to spawn in geodes, but now it spawns on these stony peaks. Oh, so much easier to get. I really like this block as well, so it's really nice because I get to build with it more and it's not such a pain to get. So that's good. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, we have got every single resource. It took me a little while, but everything is green apart from this red wool. Now the problem is this wool farm has been generating a little bit, but we've only got 35. So what I'm thinking is if I can dye every single other piece of wool, hopefully it should give me enough. Now we have got quite a bit of dye. I already got quite a lot of red dye from all the flowers that I've been farming, and we do have some more in here, so hopefully with all of these flowers we can get a good amount of dye. So I have just used all of that dye and we've managed to get just under 4 stacks, which is, yeah, not even halfway done. So I've come over to my rosebush farm and hopefully this should be more than enough dye. Alright, that's enough wool I think. And just check on the schematic. Yep, that's more than enough. Awesome. Alright, so I have everything in these 4 boxes behind me. Now all I have to do is place everything. Let's go! With this build, I decided to mimic the red mushrooms, and so I started with a grey/white colour palette using blocks like andesite, pale moss, and light grey wool. I really like the small decorations I did for this build with the pots and campfires that I added. I also think that the oak wood I used here fit really well with the grey tones that I had going on, and so I decided that a window would look nice in this section, allowing some light into the build. I used mushroom stem blocks here to add shadow to the underside of the mushroom tops, and using darker tones in builds can really add some nice extra depth, so I would definitely recommend trying different blocks to add this effect to your own builds. This was my first real go at an organic structure, and I think the shaping of these mushrooms came out really well. Once I put in the window you saw earlier, I thought that these windows on the tops would look really nice too. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this build, so if there is anything you'd add or take away, then let me know. I'm genuinely very intrigued. But finishing off the mushroom's overall shape, I am really liking the look of this. This addition is also something I'm super proud of. Nature is sometimes quite hard to pull off proportion wise, and I think I did quite a good job with both the flower and the tree sprouting from this build. Well, I mean, don't you think this looks great? I'm super pleased with how this has came out, honestly. Like, all the different colours, they don't really clash all that much, which is really nice. It's a good gradient with the grey wool into diorite into calcite and then bone blocks, with mushroom stem as like some shadow. I thought that was a really nice touch. There's also some leaves just here, and they like come down together as like 2 separate vines combining into one, and I really like that touch. And then the oak acting as like supports. Oh dear, I think there's a zombie in there. But yeah, I really like everything. The tulip, is that a tulip? I don't actually know. Is that a tulip? The tulips, are they pink? I don't know. But these little details with all like the storage items, I think these are really nice as well. Just all the decorations are just pretty neat, I think. But the only problem is, well, inside. It's not looking great in here, I'm gonna be honest. Especially with guys like that. But I think we can fix this with a quick 360, and there we go. It's all finished. Right, I suppose I'll give you a quick tour. I mean, it's not exactly the biggest room in the world, but we have all of the barrels with everything that we're getting from the flower farm underneath. There's some nice little decorations in here with some plant pots, some chests, and some leaves and stuff, some plants as well here, and some pots as decoration. There is some little bits in the wall just to add that extra bit of detail, and the ceiling consists of mangrove and a little bit of tuff, which I think is quite nice. That's like a small little detail that people might not notice. And then of course we have this window so that you can see stuff flowing in and around the system, and it's all organized. Now, the thing that we don't talk about is, well, this room. Yeah, we just ignore this and pretend like it's not here. But what I'll do is I'll show you quickly around how this works, if I can even get up. Oh dear. So obviously the farm works as is, and then it falls down here, goes up in this water stream, goes in through the hoppers. They are all filtered along here, so everything has its own slot. And then what will happen is, because there's a lot of items that come in at once, I've made it circular, so essentially the items come through, go up and back around. So it's pretty simple, and it's I think this room is looking quite nice. Oh, and I also did outside just here because I thought, well, we may as well just do it because it looks ugly with the grass here, so I decided I'll fix the floor as well. So now we have everything sorted, and I added some leaves as well to the outside, and it looks pretty good, I think. Besides in here, don't look in there. We'll close that and pretend like it's not there. It's fine. Alright, well, we're going to make our way through this rain and go and find a desert once again, because I need some sand. And why is it constantly raining? Oh, hey guys, do you mind? Can you, like, not, please? No, go away. Yep, that's alright. Okay. Yep, that's good. Okay, please disappear. And so I spent a little bit of time grabbing some sand for this Greek ruin. Alright, well, hopefully our full inventory should be enough. Just gotta head back home now. And it's still raining. Oh my goodness. And after grabbing some sand, I needed some birch, so I headed out to a birch forest to grab some. You know, chopping all these trees is great, but I really ought to make a tree farm. It would go a lot quicker and it would save me a hell of a lot of time, so I might do that in the next episode. Maybe I could build like a cool little lumber mill. Ooh, that's an idea. Alright, that should be enough. I need some fence gates and some birch wood, strip birch wood to be exact, so hopefully that should be fine. So I spent a good amount of time in the storage system now because honestly, most of the stuff was already in the storage system. The only thing that I really needed to do was grow some spruce trees because I needed a bunch of spruce and I didn't have much in my storage system. I'm starting to lose the meaning of storage system now. Can you not? Really? Alright, so in these two shulker boxes, I've got everything I need, and so I guess we just gotta build this thing. So speaking a little bit about the idea behind this build is that I wanted to merge the two styles. So the thing that came to mind was like a Greek temple structure, but then also bringing that cottagecore feel into it. I thought the best way to do that was to have leaves and moss taking over the temple, giving it that sort of abandoned vibe. Just so it looks like a temple, but then also has the cottagecore nature that has sort of taken over. Well, I mean, I think this is looking pretty damn cool. For some reason, I still have a bunch of blocks left over. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe I just missed a few, because this wool farm was already here, so maybe I accidentally merged the two and had some leftover blocks. That's alright though, they can go back into the storage system. But I think this place is looking pretty cool. One small detail that I really like is like the fences. This structure, like the dry structure, is like birch, but then as like damp has gone through the structure, I've added oak and even some spruce in here to make it look like it's wet. I think that's really nice. And then also a nice transition between sandstone to like moss and like mossy cobblestone is endstone, I find, because it has that like slight tinge of green, and so this like merge from sandstone into endstone and then into mossy stone, I think it makes it look a lot more immersive. So I really like how I did that. I think this area is coming along a lot nicer now. Unfortunately, I did realize that this bank sign is kind of cut off by the building. I don't think it's that bad, because you still get this like nice entranceway as you walk down. And also it's a nice merge from cottagecore to this sort of Roman Greek style building. Only thing is though, this doesn't really have much of a floor, so I'm going to do that quickly and then come back once it's done. Alright, so I think this will look nice with some coarse dirt in. I've got a bunch of different stuff like jungle planks and some normal dirt that I will actually change into path blocks. I think this sort of style looks really nice with like the browns and then like a little pop of color from the yellow with the path blocks. It also adds a different like height elevation just by 1 pixel, but I think it makes all the difference. So I'm just going to place these blocks randomly and hopefully it will come out looking somewhat okay. So this pathway is coming along quite nicely, but I did forget to add some mud bricks, so that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so we've added these little bits here, the little bricks, and now I think I've just got to slope it down here with some slabs. Something like this. It's a shame that we don't have more like half blocks of different things. We've just got jungle and mud bricks in the brown tones. I wish we had like half slabs of dirts and whatnot. It'd add for a bit more variety rather than just doing like these slabs, but oh well. What I'm actually going to do is I think I'm just going to wrap this a little bit just so that this incline has a block next to it. I don't know why, it just makes me feel better. Yes, I'm that picky with how I build. What are you going to do? I think I'm going to leave this path here for now and just like end it off just here. Something like this with some slabs going down. And then maybe I can do like some bits just coming off here. Does that look good? Does that look like a path that sort of ends naturally? Well, I think it'll do for now. Maybe we can add like a bit there. Yep, that's good. That's good. I like it. Now we just need to add some bushes and some fences around. Just like this path here, and some lanterns so that we don't get killed by mobs and all of my builds get blown up by creepers. Alright, so what I'm thinking is this area can actually like start to develop into some sort of stone bits. We've got a lot of wood and a lot of fences going around this area, and that's because at the time I didn't really have much resources, but now I have a little bit more stuff. And so I might start using a bit more stone, like mossy stone and some bits like this. And then put some lanterns on top of these things like this. Yeah, I think that'll look nice. And then some leaves in between. And then we can add fences along the side like that. And actually the combination of the darker like stone bits with the wood is actually quite nice. I like it. Yeah, that looks cool. I like that. Maybe we can do like a cool little statue here. I could put like a little bit in here. And I don't know what could be right now though. But there's like a little gap here that something cool could go in. I mean, maybe I'll just leave it blank, but I think it would be nice. So let me know what you think, and I might just put it in. Yeah, that looks good. We're just going to put some lanterns about. Something like that. And we probably need some lanterns on this as well, because it's a little bit dark, so I might just pop a couple. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, that's a lot brighter, and it looks a lot nicer as well. I like that. Now, we might have some problems with spawning on top of this. I think I spawn-proofed it all, but I guess we'll find out when a creeper drops on my head. Now, all we got to do is just add a few leaves about the place. I think it'll look nice. Oh, hello. You better not be from my villager thing. I hope he's not. That looks really nice and cozy. I'm loving this. I think this is great. I got my sheep farm, I got a flower farm in there, and it's all coming together really nicely. The bank's in the background, and it looks good. I like it. You know, I think I am going to light this up just so that there's no mobs falling on my head. So the last thing I want is for this to be blown up. Can you not? Can you go away, please? Where did you come from? Well, I'll tell you what, this has come along really nicely. It's actually came out a lot better than I was expecting it to. And to be honest, my goal was to kind of merge the two styles, and I think I've done alright. We go from sort of a cottagecore to a Greek style, but honestly, I didn't know if it would come out as well as it did, and I'm still a little unsure on how well it merges, but I mean, I guess let me know what you think. It's a shame that this does like slightly block everything that's going on, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think it's actually not too bad. You have like a nice view to the bank here, and yeah, it's really nice. I think it's very much cottagecore and ancient Greek. Yeah, I think they flow quite nicely. Because I tried to not make it so blatantly obvious that you're just going from one style to the next style. And I hope I did a good job. So Minecraft's recent update has changed the look of all the baby mobs, making some look adorable and others less so. And since my base is slowly taking away land for them to thrive on, I've decided that in this video I'm going to build a cozy looking sanctuary for all of these little guys to live in. Alright, now before anything, I want to go see what these little mobs look like. So we'll get some wheat, because I have some sheep and some cows over here, and I want to see what these guys look like. How was the chicken in there? How have you escaped, buddy? Alright, let's have a look. Get out of the way, cows. Okay, this is not working very well. Okay, now I need you guys to do the thing. Oh, look at that guy! He's so dorky. Oh, we have definitely got to get these guys a little sanctuary going. You're so cute. Alright, what about sheeps? What do they look like? You look so dorky. Alright, well, you're definitely cuter than the sheep, so you can roam free for now. And I think you can also get these, like, golden dandelion things. So if I go in my chest, I think I've got some. Where are my flowers? I think if you get some gold, and you do this, yeah, you can get a golden dandelion. And basically what these do, if you right-click them on a baby, then it stops them from growing up. So now I've got a cute little baby cow forever. Yeah. So the plan for this episode is that I actually want to build two pretty cool structures. One is that sanctuary for all the new mobs, and I also want to build a tree farm, because in the last video I did mention that I need some wood and I think a tree farm would fit nicely. Now, the thing is, there's a couple areas. There's this one, which I think could look nice for something. I'm not sure what yet. There is also this area just to the left of the bank where something could go. I think it could look nice just here. And then also, there is a spot across the river, which I like. But I'm not entirely sure which place is going to look best for which building. Because the thing that I'm trying to do with this world is sort of give like each area its own theme and try and make everything like fit together. So as you're walking around, you go from one theme to the next theme and it's pretty seamless. So over here on this side of the river, I have had a little think and I'm thinking maybe we could do either industry or we could build the farm over here and make it sort of like an English landscape type deal. And then out there on the outer islands, we could do like a big industrial sort of port maybe. That could look nice. And then just here we could do like a little nice seaside town. So I am actually quite liking the seaside town idea, which could go like around this area. So I think in today's episode, we're going to build in this area and in this area. The only problem with this place is that I am going to need to do quite a bit of terraforming because at the moment it's looking alright, but yeah, there's quite a few holes where creepers have blown up. So yeah, I'm going to need to go grab some dirt and do some terraforming. But before that, I do want to get on with the tree farm, so I'm going to go grab some materials and build it. So I spent a little bit of time running around my storage room gathering all the materials I needed. Luckily enough, I already had all the resources in my chest, so all I had to do was move them into a shulker box. Okay, so here's all the materials I'll need for the build. I have decided to put it in this area, so let's go ahead and make this farm. Now, I did need to do a little bit of terraforming by lowering the land in order for this farm to actually fit where I wanted it. I have planned a build to go around this farm because I gotta make the place look at least somewhat okay. And because it's a tree farm, I thought that a lumber mill might look pretty good in this spot. And it certainly fits the theme of what's going on inside. And honestly, I'm really excited to show you what I've designed because I am quite proud of this one. Alright, so this thing is done. I guess we just gotta test it and see if it works. And it does have a TNT duper, so hopefully it doesn't blow everything up. Okay, flicker this lever and hopefully it should just work. TNT should fall on that obsidian block, maybe. Oh, there we go. Alright, it is working. As you can see, the TNT drops down, it explodes, and occasionally it will drop on this obsidian block, blowing up the whole tree, and obviously works. Turn that off before anything bad happens. Alright, nice. So, I guess we just gotta wrap this thing in something cool. Now, with this build, I am using a good amount of exposed copper, which means I'm going to need some honeycombs to keep these blocks waxed. But in order to get those honeycombs, I'm going to need a bee farm. Alright, we are going to need some redstone bits for this, so hopefully we've got enough stuff, and we can get some observers, dispensers, redstone dust, and hoppers. So I spent some time grabbing the planks for chests and heading over to my iron farm to get some iron. I crafted up some hoppers, made some observers, and then spent ages getting all the dispensers, and after I had just about enough redstone dust left. Alright, well there's all the redstone components. I don't know how much of each I'll actually need, so I just went and crafted a load. Now, as for the aesthetics, I'm thinking I want to use some tuff. Looks like we're going to need to go and mine some. And then I also want to use some spruce. Are we out of that too? Kind of. Alright, well, I guess I gotta go grinding. Now the question is, where is the tuff gonna be? Well, not down here. Is it gonna be tuff in here? Oh, yes. Aha. So luckily enough, I didn't actually need that much tuff, and so I didn't even need to place a beacon down. Alright, I think that'll be enough. Now, where was that little hole? Is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, is that it? I think that's it. Hang on. Oh no. I think I'm lost again. Oh. Ah! I found it! Alright, nice. Now we can head back to the surface. I really ought to finish this mine, but oh well. Oh, and it just wouldn't be one of my episodes if it wasn't raining. Okay, so now we got the tuff. I just need to grab some saplings and then go mine some spruce, because we don't have enough. Ooh, I could use my new tree farm. Okay, so how this works is basically you look at this block, and then you just place a sapling, and then you use bone meal on it. But you got to have the sapling in your left hand, and bone meal on the right. And then we just turn this on. It should just work. So I spent a few minutes running this tree farm, and the results, well, they weren't that great. Alright, well that's all the saplings. I used 11 saplings in total. Let's see how much we got. 38 spruce logs. Well, I can definitely get wood faster by mining it, but you know what? It's fine. It's automatic, pretty much. But for now, we'll just do it like this. Okay, so that should be enough spruce. In terms of the bees, I did put these here last episode because there are some candles, I believe, somewhere in this build. So that's what I use the bees for. And so we can just take these guys. Although, actually, we're gonna need to wait until nighttime. Okay, so it's nighttime, and these guys should... There we go, they're all gone in. So we can pick these up. Oh! Oh no! I picked it up with the wrong pickaxe! I'm sorry! Are you still mad at me? I'm sorry. I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to destroy your home. Okay, let's try this again, using the correct pickaxe this time. Okay, and we should have pretty much all the bees in there. And we can take these campfires up as well. And we'll replace it with some dirt, just to make it look nice. There we go. Alright, so I have been a little bit busy crafting some of the items up, and I also managed to get some stone as well. Some smooth stone, because I like that for decorating. And I got some lanterns as well, so I thought that'd be nice. Light everything up, so that no mobs can spawn. Right, let's go building. So the redstone for this was quite easy, with an observer behind the beehive, then a redstone line running into the dispenser on top, and a hopper underneath for collection. With this build, I decided to go with a very standard palette using spruce and tuff. I really liked the roof design I came up with for this build, mirroring the style on the bank, but with some different colours to mix it up. To finalise this build, I made sure that everything was the same either side, and then added the flowers for the bees to pollinate their hives. Overall, I really liked how it turned out. So this is done, but I actually don't have any way to really know what it is in the world, and what I thought is I could do like some little flags. So I've been and got some resources, and we're going to make some little flags. Now I thought as the base we could do like a barrel, and then we use these tough walls as the base, some dark oak fences like that. Then I'm actually going to need to step up because I'm going to use these lanterns as some light, and a neat little trick, because flags are actually quite hard to make on like a very small scale, but a neat little trick that you can do is by using glass panes, stairs and some trap doors, you can actually get quite a neat looking effect. I think that looks pretty good. It's the same sort of design as the ones on top of the bank, but it's basically just a little signifier of the honey farm. And we just got to make the orange one now. There we go. And I think that looks so much better. Yeah, it looks good. I like that. Now we do need to do something with this floor because, well, it looks a bit bad at the moment. It just kind of ends. So let's fix that. And just like that, we have a honey farm. Now, the thing is, these dispensers, they don't have any shears in. So, I gotta just go fill all these up, and hopefully it's all done. You know what? I'm pretty happy with this build. I think it fits in okay, and it does a good enough job. Alright, so now this bee farm is done, we can go back to what we were doing earlier, and go collect all the resources for the lumber mill. Let's go. So I started off by collecting the least amount of blocks, like brick and mangrove stairs, and some doors. I also had quite a lot of copper blocks to age, so I got started with that too. So I need a spot for all this copper stuff to go because it needs to age, but obviously copper ages very slowly, and so I got to space it out a little bit. I'm not sure what the distance is that you need to have between each block, but I think 4 should do for now. Yeah, that should be fine. I've got a few other copper bits, so we're going to need to spread them out, but hopefully these guys will age and then I can just get them to whatever state they need to be. So I continued grabbing all of the different blocks I needed, and for this build I used many different blocks. There wasn't even that many items in total, but the amount of separate blocks I used was quite a lot for this one. Alright, well there is the first shulker box. Now I just got a bunch more to do. And as I said, I got to it and collected quite a lot more blocks and items so that I could crack on with this build. I also needed a pretty good amount of wood items for this, and so I needed to chop down a few spruce and dark oak trees. I then stripped the dark oak logs for the shelves that I needed. The main part of this build is going to be brick and granite alongside some other blocks of that colour, so that meant that I needed a hefty amount of clay. So I gathered a bunch of that and smelted it all up, and then continued placing down the copper blocks so they could age. Also, don't ask what happened with my voice in this clip. Well, we got a field of copper chains, so hopefully this doesn't take too long. Then we can get all the exposed stuff. And so the copper aging began, placing down all of the copper blocks now. These things took ages to degrade and was honestly not that enjoyable to wait for. I then did some mining, gathering a good amount of tuff and more clay. And then I placed a ton of furnaces down because I couldn't be bothered to wait. I then mined the furnaces with the brick in, which I thought was a clever idea actually, saving a little bit of time rather than just opening up each furnace and grabbing the bricks out. So now I had more brick, I used it all to craft the blocks I needed and continued on with mining. I'm mainly gathering the larger amounts of blocks now, like diorite, granite and terracotta. I also needed some mangrove shells, so I spent some time stripping some logs. The reason for this is because I decided to create a gradient going from a red colour to a more of an orange colour as you move up the build. Most of the copper had aged by now, and so I collected all of that up. I also had a look at how the bee farm was doing, and it actually produced quite a lot of wax, which was nice. So there's still a couple left that need to degrade down to exposed, and there's some over there as well of blocks that need to go down to exposed. But for now, we can grab all the exposed stuff that we already have and craft it. There we go. So I'll wait around for these guys to degrade down to exposed copper, and then we'll get started on the build. Alright, so I've been and collected all the resources, and they're all in these shulker boxes. And honestly, there is so many different items, but I am excited to show you this build. It's going to go around this farm, and it's going to look awesome. So I guess without further ado, I should just get to work. Well, you know what? I think this turned out really nicely. I think all the details, the texturing, even these little breaks in the walls, I think it turned out really nice. And this is one thing I've not actually thought of before, but I decided to use some decorative pots in this wall, because it adds that extra layer of depth. And honestly, I really like it. And it goes really well with the mangrove and the netherrack. I don't know. It's just a nice little detail that I thought of. And inside, everything all connects up. You walk in here, and yeah, I'm not sure if you've heard, but we do have a problem downstairs, which is why I brought these torches. We've got some mobs to deal with. Oh! Ooh, that was close. Okay, new plan. I'm gonna fly away and hope when I come back, they are not there. Go away, guys. Go away. Alright, well that's this area lit up. Now we won't have any more mob problems, hopefully. Now obviously the only problem with this farm and the building is that, well, there's a big gap under here and it needs terraforming. And there is also no storage as well, so I've got to build a storage room, which I think I'm going to put just over here. And so that means that all of this sand has got to go, and we've got to do, well, it's going to be quite a big terraforming project. So I guess I just got to get started. Alright. So I spent around 1 real-life hour terraforming this side of the island. I did use a lot of dirt during this process and had to go and get some more, so I thought I'd do future me a favour by removing some of this hill, which will help me later in the episode. I then finished what I could until it looked somewhat alright. So I have been terraforming this place for quite a while, and this is what it looks like at the moment. And to be honest, it's quite flat, but you know what? I think that's perfect for what we're going to need, because I am going to put a lumber mill storage right behind me. And I'm going to need it to be flat because I wanted to make this build look a little bit realistic, and normally you don't get a load of bumps in some lumber yards, especially when you have buildings like this that require a lot of footprint, and I am going to build another pretty large building, so I'm going to need the area. So I've got to go get a bunch of resources again, and then I will just cut to a time lapse because I don't want to put you guys through collections all the time. That's boring. Whilst I'm building this, I just wanted to say that I hope you are enjoying enjoying the video so far, and if you are and would like to show your support, then I am striving towards a goal of 25,000 subs by the end of the year. So if you'd like to help me out, then as always I would be super grateful. I have seen a few comments saying about how I tend to cut about in these videos, and so I decided to try out leaving more content in this time. And I would really like to know if you'd want to see more of this style, so if you could leave a like to show your interest, then that would be awesome. It shows me that you guys really do prefer this type of content, and it also helps me out with the algorithm. I am a small channel, so any kind of support always means so much to me. Oh, looks like the build's finished. Well, the storage is finally done, and as a building, I am really liking how this came out. And especially the textures. I'm loving using the different coppers to add to the sort of brown orange tones. I think it adds a really nice feature just because this building is technically degrading with all these leaves, and it gives that abandoned vibe to it with the copper and especially the green inside of the exposed copper blocks. And walking inside, we do have all the chests and all the hoppers lined up, and I do have to filter everything, so that's going to take a while. I'm not going to do that right now because, well, this interior is not looking great. Although, I do quite like the fact that it's very minimalist, and so I might keep the top like this, but maybe add some lights around the side. And if you're wondering what this section is for, you can see that I have added some water, and essentially what's going to happen is all of the logs from the tree farm are going to flow up, round out, and come down into here. Flow all the way down here into the storage system, and everything will be filtered so it's nice and organized. But yeah, I do have a little bit to do on this interior. I am going to leave most of it like this because I do like the aesthetic of it, and I also can't be bothered, but we ignore that. So I'm just going to go grab some blocks and sort this out. So I just wanted to tell you that I'm giving away 10 people lifetime access to my schematics. It'll be on my Discord, so make sure you're joined if you want to take part. Winners will be announced a week after this video is released. Alright, well I think it's definitely looking a hell of a lot better in here. I did decide to go with copper lanterns instead of the standard normal like grey lanterns, purely just because I think it's just a little bit different, and that's always nice. Only thing left to really do is to put all of the items and sort all of the hoppers out. I'm not going to make you guys watch that though, that's a little tedious and boring, and so instead we can move on to how I'm actually going to get the items from the tree farm into the storage room. So before building, I needed to collect some resources. I mainly needed oak and spruce logs, so I deforested this little area and then grew and cut down a few spruce trees. The idea for this transport system actually came from looking at old logging towns. They used to use water to move around the wood easily since it floated and it didn't require much machinery. So I used that idea and also thought it would be cool to do like an older rickety structure made of the same resource it's transporting. I also really like the colour combination of oak, spruce and tuff that I used. But as you've seen, I decided to switch it up and use some copper inside, and then on the bits you don't see, I just used some glass. Going back outside now, it's all finished. I just needed to add the water until it was all flowing into the storage room. Alright, well I think this is now done. So if I just throw an item in here anywhere, I'll throw my pickaxe. I gotta retrieve it, so I may as well, and then it should just go all the way through. And it goes up in here, round, out over here, and hopefully it'll go down and be in the first chest in the storage room. And fingers crossed. Yeah! Alright, well, that's awesome. So after that clip, I did spend a little bit of time working on a floor for this lumberyard. I wanted to add a small but crucial detail to this build, but I couldn't without a defined area. But I do think that it really helped with cementing this place into the world. Alright, I mean this is looking pretty cool. However, I do think it needs some walls. And so what I've decided to use for these fences is some andesite and some iron bars. So we're going to take some of this stuff and turn it into some walls, and mainly these stairs. Now I don't know how much I'm going to need, but I'm just going to guesstimate that that's going to be somewhat enough. Now I do also want to use some candles, so let's head over to here and grab all the honeycomb that I can get my hands on. Wow, these guys are producing so much. Look at all this. That's almost a full inventory of honeycomb. Oh my goodness. Now do we have enough string? We have no string. Alright, quick trip over to the mob farm. Okay, which one is my string in? Aha! Plenty of string, awesome. Let's take a bunch of this. Okay, and I don't know how many candles we're going to need, so I'm just going to craft a bunch of them, and hopefully it should be enough. And I do want some light grey candles, so I'll head over to this flower farm, and hopefully I should be able to get all the dye from there. Do I have... No, not really. I don't have a lot of these. Okay, well, it looks like I'm going to need to run this farm for a little bit. Right, so with all these flowers, we should be able to get all the dye we need for all the light grey candles. Nice. There we go. Okay, resources have all been collected. I did go ahead and get a few different bits. I got some lanterns, I got some funky looking lodestone blocks, and some different types of walls. And then obviously we also have the andesite stuff along with the iron bars. So let's get building. Now, what I have had in mind is doing something like this with some stairs and then some bars on top, and then doing it like 3 high. I think that might look good. But then maybe change this round to that, and then put a wall on top, and they connect up, which is awesome. And then we just build up like that, and then do some more bars over there, and then come along like, yeah, let's go 7. And then in the middle, we can put this. And then maybe we put like the wall on top of there. Oh, so maybe we can do the same thing here with like that just there. Okay, let's go one more across then. And then something like that. And then we just keep going like this. And then one more like this. Yeah. And then when we come up to here, I think one more on top like that. And then maybe a lantern on top of those. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually quite like that. It is getting nighttime though, so I gotta sleep. Quick, off to bed. That's better. The sun's rising. And it's a new day. So I think if I just continue this wall all the way around, and then maybe leave a gap somewhere in the middle so that I can get through, and then we have a gap just here. Alright, let's do that. Okay, so there's the base of the wall done. It actually feels so much better in here. It feels like its own separate like place now with the walls up. You come in here and it feels like just a brand new area, but that's really nice. So it is looking a little bit grey. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through with some walls and just place them like this, because it just adds a little bit of texture and doesn't make it so that it's so repetitive. I also need to put all the lanterns on top, so I'm gonna go around and do all that now. So something cool that I wanted to show you guys with this fencing is the reason that I've got these candles is because you can do a little feature on top that makes it look a little bit like barbed wire. It's kind of cool. So if you just place like one candle on top like this, and then they kind of look a bit like spikes. It's kind of nice. I like it. So I'm just going to do this the whole way around, and hopefully it'll look good. And I might run out of candles. I don't know if this is enough, but hopefully it is. And I think it will look good after. Okay, well this place is looking really nice. It's actually starting to feel like a secure compound now. Yeah, I'm just really liking this. I think I could probably add a few extra details to really make this place come to life, but honestly, I want to get on with another project. I want to get on with the reason as to why you clicked on this video. Let's build this farm. Now, I would love to just get started with the building on this project, but the problem I'm facing is that the terrain is looking a little bit pants. And so I've got to go and get some blocks, terraform this up a bit, and then we can get on with the builds. All right, beacons up. Let's get mining. So this terraforming project took quite a lot of time to complete. I think I spent around 4 hours mining. Overall though, it wasn't too bad. I just put on a show and got to it. I also did want to say that earlier I mentioned a giveaway, so I was thinking of a way to celebrate reaching 10k, and this was something I came up with. I'm giving away lifetime schematic access to 10 people in my Discord, so if you'd like to be in the draw, then a link will be in my description. Alright, well this place is looking a lot better. It's looking a lot more sculpted and shape now, so I think I can work with this. Now, I already have started doing a little bit of detailing down there, but there is some more stuff that I want to do, and I want to put some blocks along this cliff to make it look all nice and detailed. So I'll head over to my storage system, without getting killed, and I'll grab some blocks real quick. And there we go, we got some resources, so hopefully this will be enough for me to detail everything. Now, a few people have asked for tutorials on some of the builds I've done, and although I'd like to do that, I honestly don't really have enough time. What I can do though is explain my process through these builds, and so on this cliffside, I decided to go with a darker grey tone because the pathway was going to be built out of a lighter grey block, like pale moss and gravel. So one tip I can give you for detailing like this, and in general, is to try and think of blocks as colours rather than materials. For example, I used mud as a shadow-like block, placing it lower in the cliff and in darker areas where I thought shadows belong. Okay, so I've just made my way over to a desert because I want these things, because they're going to make for some excellent little details in the paths, and I also just love the look of them. Also, what is this terrain generation, Minecraft? Why do we have the wettest biome next to the driest biome? What's going on? Oh my goodness. This is my first time seeing the bunnies, and holy chunk! You're huge! I can barely fit you on my screen. Alright, so I've got a stack of both the dry grasses now, so we'll head home and then we'll do some more decorating. Ooh, and I'll grab some of these as well. These wildflowers will make for some nice details as well. As well as using the dried grass, I also use some leaf litter and those little flowers. I also popped some bone meal down, and altogether it made the path look really good. Well, this is now looking really nice. I like the detail in the cliff, I like the detail on the path, and the fact that it's different from the other side where we've used like mud and dirt and like jungle planks. I really like the fact that it's different. I think it separates this area from the area over the river, and that's just something that I really wanted from this build. So I'm glad that I achieved it. But obviously, at the moment we only have this path, and so what I want to do is add some endings to this path. So I'm going to start off with the building just here, and that's going to be the main farmhouse. So once again, I've got to go grab a bunch of resources. I guess cue the time lapse. Now obviously there was a lot of individual blocks to gather for this build, so I started off with the smallest amount, like flowers and their pots. This filled a shulker box pretty quickly until I started to get the large quantities of items like some sandstone bits. I think I used just over 3 shulker boxes of materials for this build, so it's not as much as the lumber mill, but I also have another 5 buildings to build after this. Moving on to the build itself though, I decided to go with a cream colour for the walls using blocks like sand and smooth sandstone. For some shading, I also threw in some endstone and birch for some highlights and shadows. I also used a lot of spruce for some trim, trying to give it that classic wooden support look. I think the shelves and trapdoors came in super handy for this, allowing for some really nice shaping and contrast. I obviously had to put in a nice chimney so the back of the build wasn't so plain, and I decided to go with some tuff for this. Onto the roof now, where I went with a brick palette with granite and copper for some texture. I also threw in some mossy cobblestone because I really tried to show the age of this build. Finishing it off now though, I placed some lanterns and leaves, giving it the splash of colour it needed to really make it pop. Well, that is pretty cool. I gotta get rid of that beacon in the background though. There we go. That's better. Well, you know what? I'm really happy with this. I did go for a bit of an odd combination of colours, with like the white and then the brick roof. At first, I didn't really like it, but then as I sort of looked at it more, I got used to the idea about it, and it actually started looking good. So if you don't like it at the minute, just keep staring at it, and you might eventually like it. I like it, so yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And we got our chicken coop just here. I'm going to put some chickens in this little pen. And one unique detail which I absolutely love about this build is these little ghasts as chimneys. I'm not sure if anyone else has done this, but let me know. Look at their little faces. So the only thing now is we got to move the chickens into their new home. I've got some down there, so let's go get some. Now the thing is with these guys is that they might be a bit difficult to move over there, so I'm going to go get a happy ghast. Aha, here we go. Bloop, get that, and run away. And I believe we just like plop this guy in some water. Oh, there we go. I think I need some snowballs, but I don't have any, so I guess I gotta go get some. Alright, so whilst we wait for this guy to hydrate, what I'm gonna do is add a small little detail to this build. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but I did have some glow lichen in my inventory, and I'm just gonna place some of this down because I don't want mobs spawning up here. So maybe one there, and then probably just one on top. Great. And you know what we'll do? We'll add a cobweb. Where are we going to put a cobweb? Let's put it just there. Yep, that'll do. Alright, come on buddy. Time to hydrate. Wake up. Oh, you know what we do need to do? Is we need to craft this guy a saddle. So is it like this? No. Like this? Oh, there we go. Yeah, nice. He's still not done. How long does this guy take? Okay, so I've just looked it up and it takes 20 minutes. It takes 20 minutes for a ghast to hydrate. What? I don't have time for this. Well, that is an awesome screenshot. Look at that, that's so cool. Moon slowly rising over the hill. Oh, that's so cool, I love that. Meanwhile, this guy still hasn't hydrated. Come on! Is it just me or has he changed his expression? Wasn't he like really grumpy and now he's like not quite that grumpy? He's a happy boy! Can you be like a happy boy like out of the water though? Oh! He's done it! Oh my god. You are adorable. Can I feed you snowballs? I can. Here, have all the snowballs that you could possibly wish for. In fact, you know what? I've got some more for you, buddy. I'll go get them. Hey, come back. Come back. I got some more snowballs for you. Whoa! Oh, you're a big one. Hey, buddy. Alright. No. Hang on. I gotta get him on a lead. Come on. I need to put a saddle on you. Oh, look at that! Oh my goodness gracious me. This is awesome. And now, if you guys just want to walk in the boat, awesome. And then if I just right-click you... Wait, is it done? I did it! Okay, we are on. And we have the chickens attached. Now we just need to get them over here. Oh, this is so slow. You know, I've watched other people do this and I thought to myself, it can't be that bad. It is. Okay. And unshift, snip. And there we go. We have a cargo pod of chickens. And then you guys can just do your thing. A tiny tennis ball! Oh my god. You are the best thing I think I've ever seen. You're so small. Oh my goodness. This is the greatest day of my life. Okay, so we've got some animals over there. Now, I think I want to get on with a second building. One's going down there, and one's going over there, and then there's a few more on top, so I don't know which one I'll start with. I'll just cut to building it, I think. So this first building is going to be a hogsty for some pigs. I went with a brown palette for the walls on this one, as a small reference to the pigs with the mud blocks. I then popped on a deep slate roof with some tough and mossy cobblestone to show some aging. And for those of you who are wondering, these builds are all part of the schematics you can get access to as part of my memberships. Moving on to the next building though, and this one is going to be for some rabbits. I decided this time I'd go with some brick for the walls and mangrove logs for the trim. I thought these went together really well actually, especially with the spruce blocks too. I really like the design of the cage on this build with the campfires as a top support. I think that was a nice detail. The roof on this was quite basic with some deep slate blocks and a small amount of texturing. Well, this is the first building on top of this hill, and you know what? I'm really liking it. The only thing that I might change is these iron bars. It's starting to look a little bit like a cage, and I'm not sure if I want to go for that effect. Obviously, if you guys do want to build this yourself, you can find it on my members page, and if you wanted to change it to make it look a bit less like a cage, then I would really recommend using some glass, because that will look really nice, I think. But I'm going to stick with these iron bars for now. I don't think it makes too much of a difference, and I really like the style with the cobblestone walls. But I'm going to continue building these things, and I'll see you back when I've done it all. Well, the view coming out of my storage room now is looking, honestly, so nice. You got the buildings in the background, buildings in the foreground. This barn is... I'm really pleased with how it all came out, to be honest. The only problem is, though, I currently don't have any way to get over there from this side of the village, world, place? I don't know what to call this. I don't know, maybe it deserves a name. What should we call this place? Either way, I need a bridge, and as you can see, I have put some dirt down because I'm going to build a bridge just across here. This is looking so nice. The path, this cliff, the farmhouse on top, the barn over here. I'm really proud of myself for this one. There is a few zombies and stuff underneath because I've not lit up the areas, but that's fine. Only problem is, there is some paths that are missing, and I do plan to do that, but first I want to make this place come to life by collecting some animals. Oh, yeah, and I need to move these chests. That's fine, I can do that. So I spent a little bit of time transferring all of the animals that I had into their pens. First I did the cows, and then I moved over the sheep. This was my first time properly using the Happy Ghast, and honestly, I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a really cool addition to Minecraft. Okay, the thing is with these mobs though, is I actually want to keep them in baby form because I think that's cool. So we need some dandelions, and then I also need some gold. And then what we can do is get some golden dandelions, just like this. And then hopefully with a bit of wheat, we can get these guys to come towards us. Alright, do your thing. And there we go. We have a baby. And then we'll keep it as a baby because I think that's awesome. Having like the fully grown adults with a little guy. That's awesome. That's great. And it just makes this place feel a lot more alive. I mean, I do want a few more cows, so I'll probably get these guys to breeding a bit more. And then we'll head up to the sheep and do the same thing. And there we go. These guys are so goofy. Why do you look like that? Right, let's go to the chickens. Because earlier I did put some chickens in here. Can these guys escape? I didn't think these guys could escape, but they might be able to. Let's test it. Can you escape? Oh. Alright, we'll put this extra fence in, and we'll see if we can round these guys up. Come on, guys. And then everybody come in here. Don't think they can get out now, even if I put that trapdoor down. Anyway, let's get some of these little guys going. And then for each baby one, we're going to give them a dandelion. That's so loud. And then we'll even throw down some eggs. Alright, let's go get some pigs. Oh. Wait, that's so convenient. There's two right here. Hey guys, do you want to become part of my farm? Okay, there we go. And if we do this and this, I've not seen what a baby pig looks like. I'm really curious to see. Oh my goodness. Look at you! You're adorable! Oh my goodness, you are the best. You are the best thing ever. Right, you have to stay small now. And I think I might actually get a lot of small ones in here because in real life, I'm pretty sure like the pigs have a lot of babies. So I might have to get like a few more small ones in here. Now we do have shoes and socks just here. I might take them out and put them in the stables up there. You guys are coming with me. Let's put them in this one. Okay, there you are, shoes. That's your new home. I hope you like it. Alright, let's go get socks. Alright, welcome to your new home, socks. You can go in here because it's got more room and you're better. Do you guys not eat hay bales anymore? Oh, it's golden carrots. I thought it was hay bales. Oh my goodness, you are adorable. Why is your head so wide? Okay, you're going to stay a baby forever and you're going to have a parent in here soon. Okay, so I believe that's every single animal done. The only thing that I need to do now is these rabbits. Except I don't have any rabbits. And so I'm going to need to go find some. I have no idea where they're going to be. Probably a desert. So I'm going to have to take the ghast and hopefully airlift them over. So the next mob I needed to get were some rabbits, and so I headed to the desert with my Happy Ghast to transport 2 back to the farm. After I eventually made my way back to the farm, I dropped off the rabbits, bred them up, and did the same thing with the dandelion to the baby rabbit. Well, you know what? I would call that a great success. We've got animals in every single building. We need names for all these animals, by the way. I want to name every single one. So leave your suggestions down in the comments, and I'll get to naming all of these guys in the future episodes. So now that all the animals have a home, I can officially say that I've completed my objective of the video. I do need to complete the rest of the pathways and some of the interiors, but the interiors can be done another day. Whilst you watch me time-lapse through making all of the pathways though, I do want to mention a few things. I would love if you guys could leave some naming suggestions in the comment section. I do read every single one, so if I like a name, I will put it in a future video. Another thing I'd like to say is that the giveaway I'm doing will be drawn exactly a week after this video has gone live. And again, the link to join will be in the description and it's also on my channel page. You don't have to subscribe, like, or anything, just be a part of the Discord. That's it. And the final thing before I'm finished ranting is that I really want to thank you for watching this far. I genuinely do mean this when I say it, and I see that sometimes YouTubers tend to just breeze by when thanking their audience, but I hope that it comes across that I genuinely am grateful for every single one of you guys. Alright, I'll pass it back to past me now. Well, this place is awesome. It's done. Now I have brought some walls over just because I wanted to light this place up. Just a little bit because I noticed that when it gets dark, this pathway doesn't have a lot of light. And so I'm just going to place a few walls with some lanterns on, as like it's almost degraded and fell apart over time as the farmers got older and older, and it's never really got fixed. And I would genuinely like to know like what you guys thought of this build, and obviously what you think of the lumber mill. Don't forget we did do that. I know it feels like a long time ago. It certainly feels like a long time ago for me anyway. That was like at least a week or two ago. That's how long it's taken me for all of these buildings, because a lot actually goes into these videos, and if you guys would like to, I would appreciate you leaving a like, because I worked really hard and I hope you guys can appreciate that. I think that should do. Maybe instead I'll move this one over to this side. I'm sure I'll do a lot more tweaking with this as it goes on. I know there's some interiors that aren't finished. I mean, this one is a prime example. Maybe you can let me know what you think would be good to go in here. I mean, this is like a rabbit hutch, so maybe like you sell rabbits in there or something, like as pets. I don't know. So over the past few episodes, I've created quite a few farms as well as some really nice looking buildings. The only problem is that I don't have a lore related reason for why these structures actually exist in my world. So today I'm going to fix that by establishing some trade and building a massive harbour complete with a dock, some waterfront houses and 3 signature buildings that'll tie everything together. Now the first thing I like to do with any given project is to prepare and terraform the area I'll be working with. And usually I'm a big advocate for filling in the terrain, but this build was very large, so I decided to keep it just a top layer of grass, and also making this small stone outcropping for a signature building that you'll see later in the video. You might have noticed me making some shapes in the terrain, and they are where some filler buildings are going to sit. I started running out of dirt during this process, and I tried to fill in as many gaps as I could, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. All that's left to do now is to finish off the foundation for the 3rd signature building. Okay, so now I think we should discuss the plan for this episode. I'm going to split this harbour build into 4 main sections: terraforming, laying down a road, building the dock, and finishing 3 signature buildings I have designed. Now we can already check off the terraforming, so the next step of the project is to build a road. Alright, so with that being said, I gotta go get some resources. Now somewhere down here I should have a beacon. Aha. Bloop. And then get all of these, and then we've got to go down to the mines and get some deep slate. So I tunneled straight down because I was going to do some beacon mining, and the beam needs to see the sky for it to actually work. So I set that up and then activated haste 2 because otherwise it would take absolutely ages to get all the deep slate I need. I decided to go with the normal silk touch deep slate as well as the cobbled version for the road. And I really wish there was a way to insta-mine deep slate because this took a long while and was very boring. I then went back after collecting a shulker box for each of those resources because I also wanted to use some basalt. So I gathered the stuff to make a farm because I am not mining in the nether. That's a death waiting to happen. I still needed to grab some lava though, as well as a few extra building materials, and then I went and found a random space to plop this thing because it is just temporary. This farm didn't take too long to build, so I'm not going to make it into a schematic because it is just super simple to make. I then spent a while AFK mining until I eventually had a box of each resource, and of course it was raining, so I quickly ran inside to sleep it off before getting on with this road. Okay, so I've now got a shulker box of each material that I'm going to use, as well as a couple other bits. So we'll just grab these up, and then we just got to fill in all these gaps. So whilst you watch me build, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the reason I'm using these blocks. I'm trying to make every area in my world unique and feel different when I walk around it. And I've already used dirt and tuff, and I think with a harbour district, a more robust paved road makes sense. And using the deep slate alongside the basalt definitely makes the road look a lot more structured and not too modern either. Because I'm not entirely sure the direction I'm taking this world in, all I know is that I'm really enjoying building in the different styles right now. And so this block palette perfectly fit the vision that I had for this area. Now I did actually run out of resources when building this, but I managed to grab some more relatively easily so I could finish it all off. Well, it is raining, but the road is now complete, so we can go ahead and check it off on our plan. Now obviously there are a lot of plots to fill in and buildings to build, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with one of the signature buildings, and that is going to go just here. But first I gotta go sleep because this rain is doing my head in. So before I collected the resources for the first building, I spent some time using fortune to build up and mine the extra resources from earlier. I figured I'd show you because I have got comments before questioning how I've gotten certain items, so I just wanted to show this so you don't think I'm spawning in resources. So moving on to getting the resources for this building, I didn't need too many. In fact, I needed less than a shulker box of items in both quantity and individual blocks. So now on to building. I gotta say, I really loved the palette that I chose for this build. If you couldn't tell by now, the first signature building is going to be a lighthouse. I wanted to try and capture the slow degradation of this structure by using diorite with shades of endstone to show some wear and how exposure to the elements has changed the colour of the paint. This will also be a schematic for those who are a part of my channel membership because I really like this build. And if you're liking what I'm building too and want to see more, then I have a bunch of videos just like this on my channel. Also, I quickly wanted to say a huge thank you for just clicking and giving me a chance. It means a lot. I am also trying to reach 25,000 subs by the end of the year, so if you are enjoying the video, then it would be awesome if you help me out by following along. And of course, liking the video helps a bunch too. And there we go, there's the first signature building built. I thought it'd be nice to start off with a lighthouse just because it kind of makes sense, because if you think about it, you can't build all of this stuff without having a bunch of resources. And although I have quite a few things over here lore-wise, you're still going to need to import a lot of stuff. And so having the lighthouse here can guide ships in, so we can build all the stuff in here. I do really like the shaping of this lighthouse. I really tried to get that curvature, and honestly, the glass up here is really helping with that. Because obviously Minecraft is a block game and you have quite a lot of harsh edges with blocks, and so the glass paired with the walls made for some really nice roundness. And I did just want to quickly show up here like how I've used glass, because from a distance you can like really tell that this is like a light going round, and I quite like that. So I just thought I'd show how I did that by pairing some darker stained glass with some lighter stained glass, and then sort of having a gradient going between. And from a distance you can really sort of tell that that light is going round even though they're stationary blocks. Just adds that extra detail, and quite frankly I think it turned out quite nicely. So after building the lighthouse, I went to grab some name tags, then headed over to the farm to name some animals. Okay, so now obviously in the last episode I asked you guys for some names, so we're going to go ahead and name some of these animals. So the first one we got to start with is these horses, because I've already got two names. We've got Socks, Shoes, and Crocs. And then making our way over to the sheep, we've got Gary, welcome to the family, bud. And we do have another baby horse that I want to name, and this is Piek. Well, welcome to the family, Piek. I think that's how you say it anyway. I might be wrong. I don't know. Then making our way over to the pigs. I still got to put the grass in for this, or like some mud. But yeah, let's name these guys. And we got Percy. I thought this was a lovely name. I really like this one. Welcome, Percy, to the family. And obviously we got to name these little tennis balls. This one's going to be Colonel Sanders. And Squeak. I think it's a fitting name, you know, considering they squeak. And then finally, we'll make our way over to the cows. And we've got Coco. So I just want to say a quick thank you for all your suggestions. There were quite a few comments, and so I just picked the names that I liked the most. And so if you want to name some more animals, feel free to put some suggestions down in the comments, and I will get around to naming them in future episodes. But for now, let's go have a look at this dock. Now, before I can start placing, I need to gather the resources for the build. So I headed out to the closest Badlands to gather up some cactus, because I needed some green dye to make some cyan terracotta. So I mined up some normal terracotta with a beacon, then flew back home and crafted everything up. I also needed some deep slate, but I already had quite a lot in these leftover boxes, so I didn't need to go collect any. So with this retaining wall, I'm trying to create the illusion of deeper water by using a gradient starting with mud and slowly transferring into some tough bricks, and I think it sells the idea quite nicely. I also built the retaining wall in the village area, and I'm hoping now you can really start to see this harbour coming together. I guess now it's time to put some buildings down, and I think you'll love the look of these places. Now obviously I'm going to need yet more resources to finish these buildings, and so I got my head down and focused on getting these materials. I also didn't really feel like talking too much, so I'm going to voice over most of these clips. So for the first building in this harbour, I'm using a mixture of some cherry blocks. I want to have a few shops on the seafront, and this is going to be one of them. I tried to give the vibe of a flower shop with the bright cherry blocks and some potted flowers in the window. I also added a brick top floor to show that someone could be living in a flat above the shop, which is typically what you see in towns in real life. This next build is probably one of the most detailed for the small amount amount of total blocks that I used. I tried to make it look like a newsstand where the villagers living in the harbour or people visiting can get their daily newspapers or catch up on the latest events happening in town. I really like the use of the lecterns in this build, as well as placing some hanging signs with some writing on. I thought that a white gradient was a nice look for an awning paired with the darker spruce and mangrove blocks too. And of course I had to colour the signs. Now of course I couldn't keep building without collecting and pooling the resources together, so even though I'm not showing it too much, this is what it looks like in between every single build. So because these buildings are on the seafront by water, I thought that a lifeguard building of some kind would fit in well. And I think that this life ring was a nice detail against the stone texturing and the deep slate roof. I also tried to add some lighting to prevent mobs from spawning. I wanted this next building to be a bakery and also look like one. And of course bakeries are known for cooking bread, so having a less flammable material like brick I thought was the best idea. I also feel like a bakery should be brown in colour, and so I used oak logs, and I think this building is probably one of my favourites in the entire harbour. Let me know what you think. On to the next building now, and I'm using a similar palette to the flower shop except with the addition of some mangrove logs for the top floor. I also sprinkled in some quartz and pale oak for a small difference so that not every building looks the same. I wanted this building to look like a sweet shop slash ice cream shop, so I tried to make it as colourful as possible, with some bushes acting as flower boxes as well as some hanging signs in a bunch of different colours. So now I'm starting with some row housing because this harbour is going to need some buildings where all the merchants and villagers can live. For this building I used a nice combination of stone and mangrove with a border of some rooted mud to separate the two floors, and then topping the whole thing off with a deep slate roof and a lovely little chimney. Moving on to some more housing, and I honestly started to feel a little burnt out at this point, and I still had a lot of building ahead of me. This is the problem with large projects, is that it takes longer than I initially realised, and so I get burnt out after a while of constantly gathering and then building. But continuing with more housing, and again I'm using a similar palette to the sweet shop because for some reason I was loving the look of the brick and the mangrove together with the deep slate for roofing material. It was really nice. A quick reminder as well that all of these buildings will be accessible through my memberships. Now speaking of memberships, whilst I'm building I wanted to announce a brand new feature that I'm bringing to every member of my channel, and that is that you now have complete access to my private Minecraft server. It's been in the works for a little bit, but I am now finally able to reveal it. It would be awesome to see you guys on there so I can pop in, check out your builds, and even say hello. We'll be running a bunch of awesome building competitions as well as lots of other events. There are more details in my Discord, so if you want to learn more about it then head over there and check out all the latest news. But back to building, and this is the last row home for now, and I am really happy with all the details and texturing I used on these buildings. For this one I decided to go with tuff for the bottom floor and crimson planks, as well as some other purple blocks to add some variety to the top floor, and of course some deep slate as a roof. Well, after putting these buildings in, I am really starting to feel this place come to life. I love just walking through these tighter alleyways with the sky just about poking through, and the small details on the windows with the awnings and the flower beds. Oh, it's just so lovely. They're really starting to feel like proper little streets and side alleys. I'm also really liking the colouring I've used, especially over here with the pink, the red and the purple. They blend together really nicely, but it's very easy to see that they're also individual buildings. And I also love how I've used trapdoors here with like some of the shutters half open, some of them fully open. It just gives that extra spice of life into the world, and I'm super happy with it. I do want to put 2 more buildings down, but we do already have the lifeguarding building, the bakery and the flower shop just here, so I think I can add some hotels now. Because this is a dock, but I also want this to be sort of a town. And a town, well, it needs a hotel. Or 2. Yeah, it needs 2. So in order to build these 2 hotels, I'm going to need to get some resources, so I chopped some trees, spent some time in the nether gathering up some random bits, and then crafted up a bunch of different blocks. I'm honestly so grateful for Matica, otherwise this harbour would have taken genuinely forever. But after putting it all into shulkers, I was finally ready to build. Alright, so now we've got all of the stuff that we're going to need. Now it's just time to build up this hotel. The palette that I'm using for this build consists of a lot of white blocks like mushroom stem and a decent amount of diorite. I wanted this hotel to feel relatively modern but then also weathered and as if it had been refurbished recently. So that's why I'm using some sandstone to mute the white tones and to overall reduce the modern feel of this build. Well, I am loving the way that this came out. And this row, this seafront, is really starting to fill up now. Now all we've got left to do is just, well, this funny shaped looking building. So I'll go grab some resources and we'll build it. Alright, so 1 hour and 3 shulker boxes later, we've got everything that we need to build this second hotel, so let's get on with it. I really wanted to push my boundaries with this next build, so I'm using some green blocks for the main floor and then transferring into a brown texture, mixing in some light grey terracotta. And then I just put a standard deep slate roof on it. Alright, well this coastline is starting to come along really nicely. And I'll just pop into FreeCam to give you sort of an overall vibe of the place. Got all the different colours, all the different types of buildings, small little streets. Now obviously I do want to put a little wooden dock down here, but before that I kind of want to finish this seafront with another signature building just here. So I'll go grab some resources and get started with it. Alright, well this is now finished, and this is looking pretty damn good, I think. Now obviously, we don't have an interior at the moment, and it is kind of a mob trap, so I'm just going to shut that and pretend that they don't exist for now. And just popping into FreeCam for a second, because I also want to make sure that you know that the back isn't finished, but we ignore that for now, because there are going to be some buildings going in this area, and going in this area, so hopefully you won't notice it as much, and I don't think it's that big a deal. I might put a window in here, but I'm not sure. But just looking at the seafront now, I am really starting to like how this place is coming together. It's starting to feel a lot more full, and like a real harbour, to be honest. Now, of course, the only thing that I want to do now is probably get this dock sorted so that we have a truly finished seafront, and where you can park your boats, you can walk up, and you can actually visit this place, because right now we don't have that. So I'm gonna go get some materials and build this up. And I fell in the water. Well, I'll see you once I've got all the stuff. And about an hour later, we should have all of the stuff that we need. That's an ender chest, that's not a shulker box. We should have all the stuff that we need in these shulker boxes. And just to show you, this is what we've got. So let's build this thing. So this dock is going to be made from lots of different types of woods, alongside some mud brick slabs and campfires. I want it to be as though this dock was built before the current road, and so it's made out of natural resources because that's all the builders could get their hands on at the time of construction. I also added some planters along the wall to add some colour to this grey path, and also to brighten it up and make it feel a little more inviting for all the travellers coming off the ships. And now with the dock finished, we can go ahead and check it off our to-do list. This might be my new favourite place in this world now. This is such a lovely little seafront. I'm really liking the different perspectives that we've got, with the higher sort of concrete layer and then the wooden dock down here. You can still see the buildings poking over the top of the wall, but it just adds a whole new dynamic to everything. Because I'm really trying to capture a real feeling of walking through a dock in Minecraft, and I think I'm actually starting to get there. And these flower beds, a really nice touch. And at nighttime, hopefully I'll remember to add a clip in, but these firefly bushes just add a little bit of particles to the air, and it adds a really nice atmosphere when walking around. So I did mention earlier that a few buildings would be going in here, and so I think it's time to start on this. And I'm only going to go up to this retaining wall today because I've designed a lot of these buildings in creative, and quite frankly I am feeling a little bit of burnout. So I'm going to go get some more resources once again, and then fill all these areas in. So for this first collection of buildings, I wanted to put in some cafes as well as some more homes for the people who run the cafes. I'm using a lot of different blocks with some darker palettes this time, especially on one of the buildings where I'm using some dark oak planks and deep slate. I want this harbour to transfer from industrial at the seafront to a more cozy seaside town feel as you move towards the village side. And I think placing these darker tones in the buildings helps to make the place feel tighter, and for me that makes the place feel more inviting and warm. I'm now adding some row homes to the section I previously built up, and I think that some of these buildings could actually be offices since I used a lot of stone blocks for these buildings, and it makes more sense for an office building to look colder. I needed to head out and get some coral for this next section of building, and as I said earlier, although I'm not showing it much, I am collecting resources in between each build. But this next lot of buildings is going to be yet again more rental homes, or whatever the owners want to turn their space into. I again used lots of stone with some wood for additional warmth in some of the builds, and it was actually quite tricky to get the right angle in flashback as this harbour was really starting to fill up with buildings, and I kept bumping into other builds when time-lapsing these clips. So hopefully the angles aren't too awkward when you're watching this. On to the next set of buildings now, and one thing I wanted to add that I hadn't yet was some garages, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who have tools and machines in this harbour, but there isn't too many places to store them. I also love this cozy tavern style building with the classic brick and mangrove, but with the addition of some redstone lamps for some extra texture. I thought that was really nice. And then finishing off with a small bungalow with a copper and brick roof for a little bit of variation on the skyline. Well, honestly, this place is really coming together. All these little streets, I can just imagine people like being on corners trying to sell stuff, you know, little people standing outside, maybe like some people sitting at this little cafe thing, drinking their drinks, people hanging their washing outside the houses and the windows. It's looking awesome, but I do want to put a building here, and I also have a building that's going to go here, so let's go grab some more resources and build these things. Yeah, I'm not sure what this building is meant to be, honestly. Maybe you can make up some lore in the comments and I can make it a part of the world. Now getting on with this cinema slash theatre, because the villagers are going to need some entertainment in this harbour. And whether it is a theatre or a cinema, I'm not sure yet, but I did really like the contrast of the white with the blue. I thought the colours complemented each other well, and then finishing off the roof with some nether brick slabs, similar to the hotel from earlier. You know, I quite like the look of this building. It's got like an old-timey vibe to it, but then also a little modern as well. It's like very contradictory, but I really like it. The different colours of the blue and then like the purple and the black with the browns. It's very nice. I like it. Oh, great, and it's raining again. Well, the only things we've got left to do now are the building going here, the building going in this space, one just here, and then a collection of buildings going just here. Now, this is obviously going to take quite a lot of materials, so once again, back to the grind and getting all this stuff. This last collection of buildings is mainly residential, with the middle building being a warehouse. As this harbour was built, the villagers realised they needed a good amount of storage for materials, as well as storage for machinery and people's belongings. So that's why they decided to build a few warehouses around the top side of the harbour, or at least that's what I thought about for the lore when creating these buildings. It's also so hard for me to decide on a favourite building, especially after designing this cabin style lodge, because the shaping of this home is something I'm very proud of. So now we've got these buildings in, I thought I'd show you what it looks like at nighttime, because honestly this place has a whole different vibe when you're just walking around at nighttime. And yes, there are some mobs that are spawning, but there's not much I can do about that because we've not placed a building here yet, and I have put some lights around the building, but yeah. We do have a small mob problem, but that's not too bad. Get out of here. But we'll go grab some more resources and finish the last two buildings in the harbour, and then we can potentially get on with the final signature building. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I forgot to record the time-lapse for these buildings, so it's going to be kind of weird, because they're just going to be finished, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to time-lapse all of these buildings, but I'm not taking it all down to build it back up again. That's just too much work. But yeah, we've got this building, which is going to be sort of a, like, tiny flats. There's one door on this side, and then another door on this side, and obviously if you go inside, there's nothing here. But I imagine these guys being like tiny little rooms that maybe you rent out, maybe there's something in here where you can just use the room for storage or something. But I wanted to put it here because there just needed to be something in here just to fill out the space. And then this wooden building, I thought it'd be a nice idea to have a lighthouse museum. And so I thought the wooden sort of shack look with like a nice rustic stone roof went well with the whole museum vibe. And I thought it'd be nice to have like the interior be all about the history of this lighthouse. But seeing the overview of this harbour coming together now, it is looking honestly so awesome. And again, just walking through these streets with the colours and the overhangs over the windows and the small warehouses, obviously missing some flooring, but that's okay, we can sort that out. I'm just really liking this place. And we got some like garages over here. And one thing I really have tried to mess with is sightlines, and this is probably one of my favourite. You have the lighthouse all the way in the background, and then these buildings just sort of piling up next to it. I don't know the exact wording for it, but got all the different colours going from white, sort of orange and grey with the blue, and then in the distance you can see the light going around in the lighthouse. One thing I would love to know though is, what's your favourite building? Because I've built a lot of stuff and I'm not sure if I have a favourite. I quite like the warehouse with the blue roof, but if you've got a favourite, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Now obviously we have done a lot of building and we've built one of the signature buildings, but to wrap up this video, I want to build a third signature building right just here. So once again, let's get some resources and get this building sorted. I've run into a wall. So the first thing I did was head into the nether because I needed a lot of warped blocks for the roof of this build. Alright, well, I'm gonna need to find another sea temple. Okay. Now I'm pretty sure there was one over here. Oh, here we go. Now we're just gonna find all of the guardians. And after finding all the guardians, I gathered all the dark prismarine I could get my hands on, making sure I got much more than I needed. I then did some smelting and headed into the mines to grab some deep slate. Moving over to the closest jungle now, where I cut a few trees and stripped some logs for jungle shelves. And then I spent a while in and out of chests until I had enough for the build. Okay, well, after a while of collecting resources, I finally have everything that I need for this final build. So hopefully you guys will like this, and yeah, I guess we just gotta get on with it. So the final signature building is going to be a warehouse. When this harbour began, the villagers and construction workers realised that leaving equipment and materials exposed to the elements was not a good idea, especially considering the recent bandit problem. So they needed a place to store their goods that could be locked and secure, as well as being protected from the elements. And so the construction of this warehouse began, and it is where most of the harbour supplies for imports and exports are kept. I would love to know if you like me doing these small lore overviews for my builds, because I love imagining what life could be like in my world and the reasoning behind these structures. Well, it is officially complete and we can go ahead and check off all of the signature buildings on our to-do list. Now, I did just want to point out that I went ahead and filled in some of the gaps around town purely because I didn't like seeing all the grass, and yes, there are some bits that aren't quite done, like the interiors of warehouses, but ultimately I think I've got most of the stuff that I needed to do. Now, I did just want to mention that I also built this garden because there's a lot of buildings going on in this harbour and not enough nature. So I built this garden because then the workers can come and have a little sit down and just take a break from the hustle and bustle. So with that being said and everything being done, I want to say a massive thank you for watching. I very much appreciate it and I hope to see you in the future. Bye!